50 miles over the Norton Sound. Some volunteers believe the plane went down in the open water in treacherous below freezing conditions. As of the latest update Friday morning, there was no new information on the location of the plane. The disappearance is the third major aviation incident in the U.S. in 8 days. I'm Jennifer King.
The past couple of days have brought some wild weather to parts of the country, flooding across portions of West Virginia, a tornado in Kentucky, heavy glaze of ice and thunder ice in several states. The January jobs report due out shortly, and ahead of that, Wall Street futures are mixed. The Dow futures 21 points higher, NASDAQ futures 3 points lower.
Preparing for a legal battle in her upcoming impeachment trial, but refused to say if resignation is an option. Doing so could preempt a possible conviction in the Senate that would bar her from running for president. The House of Representatives impeached her Wednesday on a raft of criminal charges, including plotting to have President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. assassinated, which she again denied. When discussing the impeachment trial at a news conference, she said the only thing she could say was,
"God save the Philippines."
Marcos was her running mate in the 2022 elections. I'm Karen Shamas.
The UN's top human rights body is holding an urgent session on spiraling violence in eastern Congo, where Rwanda-backed rebels recently captured a major city. Some 3,000 people have been killed since late January. News and analysis at townhall.com. Today's the day a priceless musical instrument goes on the auction block.
That's classical violinist Stefan Jakiv performing the Bronze Violin Concerto on a Stradivarius from 1714 that's being auctioned by Sotheby's. Mary Claudia Jimenez says they expect it to break records.
This violin was owned by Joseph Joachim, arguably the most famous and most notable violinist of the 19th century. It was owned by him for more than 50 years, and then it was owned by a number of other important violinists, and then was gifted to the New England Conservatory, which is now going to sell it for student scholarships.
Julie Walker, New York.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed an executive order. It advances implementation of a state rule aimed at making houses more fire resistant. This comes in the aftermath of the devastating and deadly Southern California wildfires. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Missouri Net News, I'm Marshall Griffin. The Missouri Senate has passed an ambulance district support bill. Jefferson City Republican Mike Bernsketter says the measure would require annual training for district board members and mandate audits every 3 years.
We have many high-functioning ambulance services in the state, but we have a few that are underperforming, and mainly it's in the small rural districts. They have financial struggles, and if they're having trouble in an ambulance district, then sometimes they lean on the ambulance district next to them, and then that puts a strain on the district that those people are supposed to represent.
It would also give the Department of Health and Senior Services the authority to deny licenses to financially struggling or understaffed districts. If a district's license does get revoked or suspended, a neighboring district would step in to maintain service. A Missouri House committee is reviewing several bills in response to the state's new minimum wage law. A majority of Missouri voters approved the law last November to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2026 and require businesses to provide paid sick leave to workers. The bills range in intent, with some trying to overturn the entire law and others attempting to exempt certain businesses and workers. Several business groups oppose the new law, including the Missouri Chamber of Commerce, Missouri Restaurant Association, and Associated Industries of Missouri. The University of Missouri Board of Curators has voted to name a laboratory on the MU campus after former Governor Mike Parson. Anthony Morabith reports.
The new building's name will be the Michael L. Parson Meat Science Education and Training Laboratory. Board of Curators Chair Todd Graves says the board voted to honor a true champion of the state's greatest industry. The laboratory will further enhance the capabilities of the MU College of Agriculture, Food and Natural Resources. It will provide new tools and technology for leaders and workers in the meat processing industry to better meet their needs. In 2023 and 2024, Parsons signed budget bills that included a combined $35 million for the center that will now bear his name.
This is Missouri Net.
Mango wants you to be safe when using natural gas in your home. If you smell rotten eggs or hear a hissing sound, clear out immediately. Go upwind and from a safe location, call 911. Preparation is the key in dealing with natural gas. It's best to have natural gas and carbon monoxide detectors in strategic places. Keep small children away from stoves, fire pits, and other sources of natural gas. For more safety tips, visit mosafegas.com. That's mosafegas.com. A message from Mango, the Missouri Association of Natural Gas Operators.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri. We're for kayakers, car dealers, grocery baggers, and mail carriers. We're for teachers, preachers, students, and singers. Armed service members? You bet we're for you. We're for people who shake your hand and say hello, not because they know you, but because they don't. We're for brewmasters, stockbrokers, beauty queens, and truck drivers. And don't worry, we're still for farmers too. Whatever you do, if you're a Missourian, we're for you. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we've got Missouri covered.
A chain of gas stations in Missouri and other Midwestern states will soon be rebranded. Utah-based Maverick has announced that next month it will start renaming 54 come-and-go stations in Missouri. Legislation designed to protect customers from getting burned by ticket brokers has passed a U.S. Senate committee. The bill is co-sponsored by Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt. He tells MissouriNet that it would require ticket sellers for concerts and sporting events to include an itemized list of all fees attached to the price of a ticket.
It's to make sure that there's better disclosure as it relates to, people buying concert tickets and making sure people can get full refunds.
The Federal Trade Commission would be responsible for enforcing the proposed requirements. The bill is co-sponsored by Democratic U.S. Senator Ed Markey of Massachusetts. It now awaits a vote by the full Senate. And a poster contest for fifth graders in Missouri is being held to celebrate Drinking Water Week, which is May 4th through the 10th. This year's theme is Protect the Source, where students are to show ways people can protect drinking water. Entries must be postmarked to the Missouri Department of Natural Resources by March 8th. This is MissouriNet.
For the last couple years, my company, Level 9 Heating and Cooling, has been telling you that when it comes to your HVAC system, you've got a guy. I want you to know that in this area, I'm that guy. My name is Ben Pence, and I'm the Level 9 Sales Manager. Level 9 is committed to making sure your heating and cooling system runs at peak efficiency, both to save you money on your monthly bills and to extend the life of your system. I also want to let you know that we now offer plumbing services with a master plumber and a journeyman plumber licensed in St. Louis County, and the surrounding areas. I'm also excited to offer the preventive maintenance program for just $25 a month. We come and check your plumbing each year and your HVAC system in the spring and the fall. Preventative maintenance members also get discounts on parts and services. Level 9 Heating and Cooling is a proud premier Lennox dealer, but we service all brands. You can contact me at 636-239-3581. Remember that when it comes to heating, cooling, and now plumbing, I'm your guy.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol reported that a Barnhart man was killed in an accident in St. Louis County at 1:46 p.m. yesterday on Tesson Ferry Road south of Walden Ridge Drive. A 30-year-old man from Farmington was driving a 2012 Chevrolet Silverado, crossed the center line and struck a 1998 GMC 400 driven by the 57-year-old man from Barnhart. The man from Barnhart was taken to Barnes Jewish Hospital by Melville EMS, where he was pronounced deceased. The driver of the Silverado had serious injuries. He was taken to Mercy Hospital South by Melville EMS. 3 local people were arrested in St. Louis County at 11:46 last night. 30-year-old Kyle J. Blankenship of Sullivan arrested on a patrol charge of possession of a controlled substance, 1 milliliter of fentanyl, and possession of drug paraphernalia. 30-year-old Dustin W. Brown of Bourbon and 31-year-old Allison R. Jenkins of Sullivan were both arrested on patrol charges of possession of a controlled substance, 1 pill of fentanyl. They were all taken to the Eureka Police Department and later released. The patrol made an arrest in Franklin County at 3:16 p.m. yesterday. 41-year-old Christy L. Ingram of Villa Ridge arrested on a Pacific Police Department failure to appear on a traffic offense ×2. Franklin County failure to appear on non-traffic offenses. She was taken to the Franklin County Adult Detention Facility and was bondable. At 7:52 a.m. yesterday in Franklin County, 49-year-old James C. Sanders of Sullivan arrested on a Washington County felony enticement of a minor for indecent purposes and felony strong-arm rape. Sullivan Police Department, stealing, larceny, theft. Franklin County, possession of narcotic equipment and dangerous drugs. Crawford County, no license and failure to register a motor vehicle. He was taken to the Washington County Jail and held without bond. The Highway Patrol made an arrest in Crawford County at 12:55 a.m. yesterday. 35-year-old Brandon A. Wilson of Bourbon was arrested on DWI, driving while revoked, leaving the scene of a crash. He was taken to the Crawford County Jail for a 24-hour hold. In a press release from the Washington County Sheriff, Dwayne Reed, deputies with Washington County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to an assault involving a vehicle. When deputies arrived, they made contact with the victim who had been struck by the vehicle. Deputies learned that a suspect driving a 2002 Dodge Dakota had engaged in a verbal argument with the victim and then used the vehicle to hit him. The suspect then proceeded to perform donuts around the victim in an attempt to allegedly further strike him with the victim until the victim was able to defend himself with a crescent wrench, breaking the rear glass of the suspect's vehicle. This caused the suspect to flee the scene. Sheriff Reed said Timothy Portell of Cadet was taken into custody and charged with first-degree assault, armed criminal action, and property damage. Bond was set at $50,000. The Department of Economic Development, or DED, announced recently that it has awarded a total of more than $25 million to 52 projects through its Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, program to assist with various improvement projects. Funded projects include street and roadway repairs, stormwater and drainage improvements, demolition of dilapidated structures, and construction of new public facilities. Locally, the city of St. Clair was awarded $500,000 for street repairs, and Gasconade County got $529,210 for street drainage improvements. Franklin County Highway Department is closing Beaumont School Road in the Gerald area today from about 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. for cross-culvert replacement. The closure will be between 7891 Beaumont School Road and Highway ZZ. The road will be closed to all traffic, including emergency vehicles. If you have any questions, you can contact the Franklin County Highway Department at 636-583-6361. And the Missouri State Highway Patrol would like to remind the public that driver examination stations throughout the state will be closed on Wednesday, February 12th, in observance of Lincoln's birthday, and on Monday, February 17th, in observance of Washington's birthday. And the patrol wants you to know that they're hiring. They offer over 60 career paths. For current openings, you can visit bit.ly/MSHP careers to apply today. And there's a gospel hootenanny concert to benefit Sherry Pyatt, one of Sullivan's well-known and loved waitresses. Sherry took a bad fall on November 12th that basically destroyed her right hip. She had to have full hip replacement surgery. This benefit concert will be held at the Anchor Church at 285 East Springfield in Sullivan. It starts at 7 o'clock tonight. It's completely free. A love offering will be taken, and 100% of the offering will go to Sherry. That is a look at your local news on a Friday. I'm Sam Scott. Have a great weekend.
Welcome to Compass Health Network, where your smile is our priority. If you are struggling to find dental care that accepts Medicaid, we've got you covered. From routine checkups to complex procedures, our skilled, board-certified dentists provide top-notch care with compassion. Don't wait any longer. Get the care you need today. Call 844-853-8937 to book an appointment with one of our caring dentists. Visit compasshealthnetwork.org to find a location near you.
New Testament Baptist Church in Sullivan is starting a new addiction recovery ministry called Life Issues. It's a biblical approach to the 12 steps, bringing scriptural principles into personal focus and making them come alive for transformational living. Whether you struggle with addictions, food, depression, anxiety, or relationships, you'll be encouraged to see how others have found a new way of life with hope for the future through this program. Life Issues will meet weekly on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. at New Testament Baptist Church. You're not alone. To find out more, contact New Testament Baptist Church at 573-468-3334.
In recent funeral notices, Donald James Ernie Fuchs of Owensville passed away Tuesday, January 28th at the age of 84. Funeral services will be held Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Gottenstrader Funeral Home in Owensville. Burial will be in the Oak Hill Cemetery in Oak Hill. Visitation will be from 4 until 8 p.m. this evening at the Gottenstrader Funeral Home Chapel. Mildred Marie Campbell, née Brakefield of Leesburg, passed away Friday, January 31st at the age of 85. Funeral services will be held Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. Interment will take place at the Campbell Cemetery in Leesburg. Visitation will be held from 4 until 8 p.m. this evening, then again on Saturday from 10 a.m. until the time of services at 11 at the Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. Norma Lee Scott, née Helling of Fenton, passed away Wednesday, January 29th at the age of 92. Funeral services will be held Monday at 11 a.m. at the Russell Colonial Funeral Home in St. Clair. Burial will be in the Midlawn Memorial Gardens in Union. Visitation will be held Monday from 9 to the time of services at 11 at the Russell Colonial Funeral Home in St. Clair. Memorials may be made to the Vandover Baptist Church in Fenton in the name of Norma Scott. Joe Dale Midyett of Steelville passed away Wednesday, February 5th at the age of 77. Visitation will be Monday from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the Hudson Funeral Home in Steelville. The funeral service will immediately follow at 2. Eileen Pullman of Rosebud passed away Thursday, February 6th at the age of 90. Funeral services will be Friday, February 14th at 11 a.m. at the Gottenstreiter Chapel in Owensville. Burial will be in the Rosebud Methodist Cemetery. Visitation will be that Thursday from 4 until 8 p.m. at the Gottenstreiter Chapel in Owensville. Gary Williman of Rosebud passed away Wednesday, February 5th at the age of 70. Funeral services will be Saturday, February 15th at 1 p.m. at the Gottenstreiter Chapel in Owensville. Burial will be in St. John's Evangelical Cemetery in Swiss. Visitation will be Saturday, February 15th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Gottenstreiter Chapel in Owensville. Roberta Ann Arnold passed away Sunday, February 2nd at the age of 85. The celebration of life will be planned for a later date. Cremation will take place. All arrangements under the direction of the Eaton Funeral Home and Cremation Center of Sullivan. The complete funeral announcements with all the survivors will air with our 8 o'clock expanded edition of KTUI News this morning.
At Sullivan Bank, we are committed to being a step up in service. We support our customers through every chapter of life. This includes your business endeavors, which is why we offer our Sullivan Bank Business app, where you can deposit your business checks, make transfers, and receive real-time alerts. Stop by Sullivan Bank today to experience a step up in service for yourself.
At Seidenstricker Nobe Partners, we know the right equipment makes all the difference. That's why we're bringing you Spring Into Green savings. Right now, save up to $8,600 off MSRP on a new John Deere compact tractor. Plus, get 0% financing for 60 months with zero down. When you choose Seidenstricker Nobe, you're not just getting a tractor, you're getting a partner. Visit snpartners.com. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 4/30/2025. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
It is 20 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock here at the studios of KTUI. Increasing cloudiness for today. There's a chance of sprinkles afternoon, high near 38. Cloudy tonight. Scattered showers mainly after midnight, low around 34. Cloudy tomorrow. There is a 60% chance of rain, mainly before 1 p.m., high near 54. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night, low around 26, and partly sunny on Sunday. High near 38 degrees. It's going to be mostly cloudy on Sunday night, low around 24, and then mostly cloudy on Monday, high near 39 degrees. Right now at the studios of KTUI, 33 degrees, 32 out at Sullivan Regional Airport. Birthdays that I have today, Ashley Crump tomorrow. Annabelle Beckett is going to be 11. Ronald Eaton has a birthday tomorrow. Alexis Bird, Kimmy Wibbenmeyer, and then David Hartwick. And Sunday, Michelle Landeros. And that's the birthdays that I have for you. All right, Bobby D's got some sports for you here on KTUI. Stay tuned.
Looking at sports on this Friday from the Sullivan Bank studios of KTUI Radio, this is Bobby D. The Blues dropped one last night, giving up a goal late, falling to the Florida Panthers. Here's Alex Ferrario with the Blues recap.
Last night, the Blues continued their homestand, welcoming in the Florida Panthers. In the first period, the Blues would score first, as it would be Zach Bolduc standing in front of the net. 3 minutes and 31 seconds in, 1-0 Blues lead. But then back-to-back goals by the Panthers before the period would end would take the 2-1 lead. Matthew Tkachuk, a power play goal. Blues would even it up in the second period. Oscar Sundquist on the power play. Tie game all the way up until the final 12 seconds of the third period when Matthew Tkachuk would score his second of the year with a deflection standing in front of Joel Hofer. The Blues now dip to 2 games below 500, fall to the Panthers 3-2. Back at it on Saturday against the Blackhawks. Puck drop at 6, pregame skate at 5:30 on the St. Louis Blues radio network.
Thank you very much, Alex, and we'll have that game on 102.1 FM. Working to add depth to an infield that could soon be without 10-time Gold Glove winner Nolan Arenado, the Cardinals dealt for third baseman outfielder Michael Hellman from the Twins on Thursday. The Cardinals sent back cash considerations for Hellman, who had 3 hits and 10 at-bats over 9 games with the Twins in 2024. It is the first money-spent acquisition of the offseason for the Cardinals, who uncharacteristically have yet to sign a free agent. The Cards and Red Sox have again engaged in trade talks centered around Arenado in recent days, according to sources from MLB.com. Arenado has a full no-trade clause in his contract, and he exercised that option in December to block a potential trade to the Astros. Boston would prefer to sign former Astros All-Star Alex Bregman, but they're in a bidding war with at least 2 other teams for his services. Hellman, who's 28, made his MLB debut September 3rd of last season. The Texas A&M University product had 3 hits and 10 at-bats, including 2 doubles in 9 games with the Twins. The ECC Falcons softball team got one of the top Class 4 players in Missouri during the signing day on Wednesday. First-team All-State infielder Casey Jenkins from Bolivar has signed to play at East Central next season. College scoreboard from last night. Women's basketball was number 6 LSU, holding off Missouri 71-60. Grace Slaughter with 18, Ashton Judd 17, Lania Randall 15 for Mizzou. Columbia College women's basketball secured its 20th win of the season, 84-48 victory over William Woods University last night. Mallory Shedley from Sullivan had a game-high 24 points for Columbia with 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. Emma Daniels from Owensville had 7 points with a rebound and a block for Columbia. Cindy Booker from Steelville had a double-double for William Woods, 11 points and 10 rebounds. Quincy down Missouri S&T 76-61. Anna Finley from Owensville 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Drury downing Truman State 88-64. Caitlin Patke from Borgia 2 points for Truman State. Abby Peterson from Sullivan had 3 points and 2 rebounds as UMSL lost to Lewis University 65-54 last night. Men's basketball, the wins keep rolling in for the Missouri S&T Miners, with the 5th-ranked ball club defeating the Quincy Hawks 91-82 to improve to 19-1 overall. Adam Rickman from Borgia had 1 point, 4 steals, 2 rebounds for the Miners. College softball finals from Thursday. Missouri Baptist beat Nelson University 4-2. Michaela Johnson from St. Clair started shortstop from Mobab and was 1 for 4. At the Aggie Classic at Texas A&M, they beat Utah State 11-5 and Purdue 10-2. At the Kachikawa Classic out in Tempe, Arizona, Grace Molitor from Washington, who played this past season at Washington High School ball, graduated in December and enrolled at Arizona State and started shortstop for the Sun Devils. She had a walk, a run scored, a sacrifice bunt as Arizona State beat Maryland 7-1. Baseball scores from Thursday. Columbia College shutting out Spring Arbor University 8-0. Chase McCaig from Herman 1 for 2, a double with 2 RBI for Columbia. Lane Feeler from Bell, 1 inning pitch, gave up a hit with 2 strikeouts. At the Henderson State Invitational in Arkadelphia, Arkansas, Emporia State defeating Henderson State 7-4. TJ Rockerbomber from Herman was 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. College schedule for today: women's basketball, Indiana State at Missouri State at 6:30. On the men's side, St. Louis University at St. Joseph's at 8 o'clock. Missouri Valley wrestling at the Benedictine duels today. Kent State will be at Ohio University at 7 for a dual meet. Indoor track, the Northwest Missouri Bearcat Open starts today with Central Missouri, Evangel, Southwest Baptist, State Fair Community College, and Truman State. Some of the teams will be there. Hannibal LaGrange participating in the NCCAA Indoor National Championships in Cedarville, Ohio. Missouri S&T at the Gorilla Classic at Pitt State. Missouri Southern in the Steve Miller Classic in Manhattan, Kansas. SIU Edwardsville at the Mizzou Invitational. SEMO at the Husker Invite in Lincoln, Nebraska. College softball gets underway in earnest today. Missouri opens up their season at the NFCA Division I Leadoff Classic in Clearwater, Florida. They'll play Marshall at noon today and Northwestern at 3 o'clock. Missouri State opens up in the Paradise Classic at Boca Raton, Florida, playing Ole Miss at 10:15 and Kansas at 2:45. Arizona State will play Miami of Ohio at 6:30 tonight in the Kachikawa Classic out in Tempe, Arizona. Evangel has a couple of games in the Branson Bash in Branson today, playing St. Mary of the Woods at 1 o'clock, Olivet Nazarene at 3. University of Illinois Chicago taking on UAB at 1 o'clock, and South Alabama at 6 o'clock in the South Alabama Invitational in Mobile. Lincoln University in the West Texas Invitational in Canyon, Texas, playing Eastern New Mexico at 9 a.m. and West Texas A&M at 3:45. At the 901 Classic in Memphis, Tennessee, Lindenwood will play Hampton University at 12:30. Also today, Missouri Baptist against Mid-American Christian at 1:30, and they'll play Tabor College at 4. At the Mustang Roundup in Wichita Falls, Texas, Southwest Baptist against Northwestern Oklahoma State at 12:30, and then Cameron University at 5:15. Texas A&M takes on number 19 Baylor at 7 o'clock tonight in the Aggie Classic at College Station. College baseball today, Arkansas Tech at Central Missouri at 3 o'clock. College of the Ozarks at Evangel, a doubleheader at noon and 2:30. Columbia College will play Spring Arbor University in Olathe, Kansas at 10 today. At the Henderson State Invitational, Emporia State against Wichita Baptist at 1. Hannibal LaGrange at York University, noon and 2:30 in a doubleheader. Jefferson College in the Saluki Invitational in Millington, Tennessee. Also McKendree University at Harding at 1 o'clock. Quincy at Lincoln Memorial University in Tennessee at 3. Truman State at Pittsburgh State at 3 o'clock. In the local scoreboard from last night, girls basketball JV game at St. Clair. Sullivan beats St. Clair 40-18. Owensville with a big conference win over Herman, 48-27 in the varsity matchup. The Dutch girls take the JV game 32-16. St. James Downs Pacific 45-17 in varsity. They played 2 quarters of JV. St. James on top 34-4. Rolla girls down Cuba 59-20 last night. Iberia over Bell 58-38. Boys basketball, St. Clair won the JV game with Sullivan last night 38-28. It was Lynn defeating Bourbon 58-45 in varsity, 57-17 in JV. New Haven with a come-from-behind win, 59-56 over Grandview in the varsity game last night. Grandview won the JV game 48-18. High school wrestling from Thursday in a meet at Windsor. St. Clair beat Sullivan 48-24. And then St. Clair beat Windsor 60-18. Sullivan lost to Windsor. In the quad meet at Owensville last night, the Owensville girls beat Fatima 36-10, South Callaway 42-4, and Principia 42-18. On the boys' side, Fatima down to Owensville 59-24. Owensville beat South Callaway 60-18 and Principia 60-12. And in boys wrestling, Washington won a dual meet over Pacific 50-24. Coming up tonight, girls basketball, one game on the schedule. St. Clair at Sullivan. It's a varsity girls and boys doubleheader. Girls game tipping off at 5:30. We'll broadcast those games tonight. Boys basketball, besides that Sullivan-St. Clair game, Bell is at by Burnham at 5:30. Borge at St. Dominic, freshman JV and varsity at 4:30. Steelville at Bourbon. It'll be homecoming, 5:30 start time. Cuba at Osage at 5. Owensville at Herman, one half of JV, followed by varsity starting at 6 o'clock. Union at New Haven, it's homecoming there at 6 o'clock start. Pacific at St. James. The freshmen will play at the middle school at 5:30. JV and varsity at the high school with JV at 5:30. Washington at North Point at 5:30 as well. High school wrestling for today. Owensville at the Buffalo Girls Tournament. Pacific in the Lift for Life Girls Tournament. Sullivan and Steelville beat the Central Park Hills Girls Tournament. And Pacific at JV Boys Tournament starts at 4:30 today. Those other tournaments start at 4 o'clock. Sports on the air. We have high school basketball tonight. Varsity girls boys doubleheader. St. Clair at Sullivan. 5:15 pregame for the girls contest with tip-off at 5:30. Followed by the boys game. We hear them both on 102.1 KTUI FM. That's your look at sports on this Friday from the Sullivan Bank Studios of KTUI Radio. Have a great day, everybody. This is Bobby D.
I'm Robert Scott with Bruce Key & Scott Tax Preparation in Sullivan. The Missouri Property Tax Credit Claim, also known as the Circuit Breaker Program, gives back a portion of rent or real estate tax paid for that year by persons 65 and older or persons 18 to 64 that receive SSI, SSD, or Veterans Disability. This credit is for a maximum of $750 for renters and $1,100 for owners who owned and occupied their home. The amount the person receives is based on the amount of real estate taxes or rent paid and the total household income. If you think you qualify, come see me, Robert Scott, at Bruce Key & Scott Tax Preparation at 900 Elmont Road in Sullivan, or call for an appointment at 573-468-8110. Please be aware that this program does not assist with personal property taxes.
It is 29 minutes. Well, it's coming up on 28 minutes in front of 8 o'clock here at the studios of KTUI. 33 degrees, 32 out at Sullivan Regional Airport. Bobby D along with me here this morning. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, Sam.
And yes, we are having trouble with Facebook this morning. I don't know what their problem is, or my problem, or whoever's problem it is, but
somebody's got a problem. We're just not sure who it is.
Right.
Us, them, or
I've tried and tried to get us to connect, but we did have some internet problems this morning, so that maybe has something to do with it. I don't know. But you can still pick us up on YouTube right now. And, of course, you can get us on the TuneIn app. So, let's see. 33 degrees here at the studios, 32 out at Sullivan Regional Airport. Today is a Red Friday. It's that for a couple of reasons. One, remember everyone deployed, which we do every Friday. And the other one is National Wear Red Day, and that is for women's heart disease.
Oh, okay.
This is E-Day. It's Ballet Day, Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, Bubblegum Day, Give Kids a Smile Day, National Fettuccine Alfredo Day. I was never an Alfredo.
Ooh, I like me.
I mean, I can eat it, but it's.
I like it. Yes,
it's not one
my
of my.
wife makes a really good homemade Alfredo sauce.
I've tasted some that are pretty good, but I'm just not a. I don't know. I like.
You're
meat.
A red sauce.
I'm
guy.
a meat sauce. Yeah, meat and red sauce kind of guy on my noodles.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I like Alfredo.
I did have some chicken noodle soup yesterday. I'm not really. I'm trying to. What do they call it now? I'm trying to adult. I was never a soup guy. I just never.
I love soup.
Yeah,
love soup.
Still
do.
Let's see. It's National Patty Melt Day. I do like a good patty melt.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
National Periodic Table Day. I thought about trying to find the clip of Sheldon singing the periodic table song.
Yeah.
You know.
Or they did one on NCIS too, I think.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, back in
I don't remember
when
that.
Abby was on there back a few years back. Yeah.
Rose Day, Send a Card to a Friend Day, Wave all of your fingers at your neighbor Day. not just
whether
one
you
of
like them or not. Yeah.
Congenital Heart Defect Week. It's National Marriage Week USA, and today is the start of Valentine's Week. So,
by golly, it is. Okay.
So that's
what you can observe or celebrate.
Hey, if you're hosting a Super Bowl party, make sure pizza's on the menu. More than 6 in 10 people say pizza is a must-have at a Super Bowl watch event. Pizza topped with pepperoni, our number one favorite among football fans and pizza lovers alike, with 63% of survey respondents. I think in Missouri I saw that they broke it down by state, and I can't remember. Missouri was either meat lovers or I think it was Supreme. And that's actually
I've seen both before.
Yeah.
Different surveys have said, but yeah, most people here are not just pepperoni or just cheese.
I like them. I like a good chicken pizza.
I like
Super Supreme is my favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
But some people you say something about Hawaiian pizza and they're like, pineapple.
Pineapple and ham on pizza. Oh boy, that's good stuff.
That is good stuff.
You don't know what you're missing.
I know.
There's a convenience store that does pizzas.
Oh yeah.
That I like their chicken bacon ranch.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah.
There's a convenience store that has taco pizza.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, I think it may be the same one.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, those are good too. It's not that good warmed up unless you do it in an air fryer. The taco pizza.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, unless you do it in an air fryer.
I'm not. I eat my pizza. I don't eat leftover pizza.
I do.
My whole family, they loved cold pizza. Whatever. I don't even like it if it's gotten cold and you put it in the microwave. I mean, I'll eat it, but
prefer not. Yeah,
I prefer it straight from the box, from the
fresh right out of the
yeah. And I have A couple of years ago, my mom bought me a pizzazz. And it looks kind of like a blender or something, but it's got a flat round tray that sits on it, and it spins round and round. And I'll pick up the pizzas, the unfrozen pizzas from the stores, and put on it. And it only takes with unfrozen pizzas, it only takes like 12 minutes.
Yeah,
and it makes the crust good and everything. So I really like that thing, pizzazz.
Yeah. Well, speaking of food, as we have been, and we do often. It's sad commentary on our society when people are now dropping or falling to stealing eggs.
Oh, I heard.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yes. Police in Pennsylvania trying to crack the case after 100,000 organic eggs worth upwards of $40,000, probably more than that, were stolen from the back of a trailer over the weekend. The theft took place in Greencastle, Pennsylvania, about 65 miles southwest of the state capital of Harrisburg. And that's a trivia question you can get people on, the capital of Pennsylvania. Because most people will say Philadelphia or Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's Harrisburg.
But it's Harrisburg. When the eggs were stolen from the rear of a distribution trailer about 8:40 p.m. last Saturday while it was parked outside Pete and Jerry's Organics. Philadelphia State Police Chambersburg responded to the location, discovered that around 100,000 eggs worth an estimated $40,000 had been stolen. Authorities did not offer any insight into how such a large theft could have occurred unnoticed, or if they have any potential leads in the case. Pete and Jerry's Organics has been around as a brand since the early 1980s, but they transitioned to organic farming in 1997. Setting a higher standard for farming practices and animal care across the entire industry does not happen without ruffling a few feathers. We squawk the squawk and walk the walk, Pete and Jerry's Organic says on their Facebook or on their website. They were recognized as a 2022 Best for the World B Corp in the community impact area. Company works with over 200 independent, family-owned and operated farms in their network, mainly located across New England, the Mid-Atlantic, and Midwest. These farms are typically run by a single family and small enough for each partner farmer to manage, delivering hands-on care to our hands while still leading rich and fulfilling lives, according to their website. But yeah, be on the lookout for a bunch of hot eggs.
Boiled or fried?
Over easy. I don't know.
Border czar Tom Homan said yesterday he confirmed that a planned Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, operation in Aurora, Colorado had been leaked to members of the Venezuelan Tren de Aragua, or whatever, what it is, gang. We've already identified how this operation got leaked. I'll deal with that today. He told Fox News. Homan also hinted that ICE may begin to arrest individuals who impede ICE operations and indicated he was working very close with the DOJ, only legal guidance for doing so. This is not a game. This is a dangerous job, he said, to have this top of, I like the way they don't proofread. To have this type of interference puts the officers at risk. Libs of TikTok says, whoa, someone leaked to the Tren de Aragua gang members that ICE was raiding Aurora, Colorado. When ICE showed up, the apartments were empty. Protesters also had bullhorns to warn illegals about ICE coming. Tom Homan now says he's in touch with the DOJ about potential prosecutions. Bill Malugin said, we were embedded with ICE as part of a massive federal operation in Aurora, California. I thought it was Colorado, but it is. Another proofreading. Targeting the gang members, but the op fell far short of its goals, possibly due to leaks to the media that the raid was coming. I'm told that 30 arrests were made. Only one was, here they go. They abbreviate the gang as TDA.
Yeah, we'll just do that. It's easier. Yeah. I saw something yesterday that one of the radio stations that Soros bought right before the end of Biden's term, it was fast-tracked through the FCC, that one of his stations out there were the ones that blabbed it all over the
Shut 'em
place that
down.
they were coming. Well, I think that's what Mr. Holman is looking to do.
They're under the rules of the FCC.
Yep. And that leads me to another topic, which I'm sure has been discussed ad nauseum. But everybody's crying about Musk.
Oh yeah.
Nobody elected him.
Yeah. Well, there were a lot of people in the Biden administration.
Nobody elected.
Even the person that was pulling the presidential strings wasn't elected. So.
Yeah. Well, but there's this billionaire out there doing anything he wants to, blah blah blah, and all this influence, and I'm like, can you say George Soros?
Can you say Fauci?
And his son?
Can you say?
Yeah.
Hunter Biden. We didn't elect any of those people.
No, but the influence and that Soros had.
I know.
Not just on Biden, but back to Obama and Clinton.
And still has.
And still has out
Not
there.
in government, but with people. Hiring people to do stuff.
You see all the prosecutors that he elected and all this stuff, people he's backed, and all the different left-leaning liberal, organizations and whatever that he's funded. I'm like, okay, that all influenced our political scene. But of course, the Democrats, oh no, who's George Soros? Oh, we've never heard of him. Oh, well, this is different. Oh, yeah, really? Okay, sorry about that, but you're wrong. But that kind of got my rankles up yesterday. I saw something on that. I'm just like, okay, yeah, look in the mirror, people. It's not. They're trying to distract you. Look over here.
Yeah. Well, so the Trump administration reportedly filed a lawsuit yesterday against the city of Chicago, Cook County, and the state of Illinois over their sanctuary laws that shield illegal aliens from deportation, arguing that they interfere with federal law enforcement's operations. The lawsuit argues that the jurisdictions have adopted policies that inhibit the federal government's ability to enforce federal immigration law. We've identified Illinois, the city of Chicago, and Cook County as all having law and ordinances on the books that impede federal immigration enforcement. In particular, the Chicago Welcoming Ordinance, the Illinois Trust Act. President Donald Trump's newly confirmed Attorney General Pam Bondi explained the significance of the suit and accused the municipal, county, and state governments of prioritizing illegal aliens over Americans. Hear, hear.
There you go. I wonder, is the secession plan still being developed in downstate Illinois
to go to one of the neighboring
Indiana,
states,
something like that, because they don't.
I don't know
the way that Cook County runs everything in the state of Illinois, and they don't have any say. Well, more spying stuff here from guess who? The Chinese.
No.
Yes, internet-connected cameras made in China are giving the Chinese government the ability to, quote, conduct espionage or disrupt U.S. critical infrastructure, unquote, according to a Department of Homeland Security bulletin obtained by ABC News. The cameras typically lack data encryption and security settings and by default communicate with their manufacturer. It's believed there are tens of thousands of Chinese-made cameras on the networks of critical U.S. infrastructure entities, including within the chemical and energy sectors. Chinese cyber operatives had previously exploited internet-connected cameras, and the fear is China could gain access and manipulate systems without tighter restrictions on those cameras, the warning from the DHS. A cyber actor could leverage cameras placed on IT networks for initial access and pivot to other devices to exfiltrate sensitive process data that an actor could use for attack planning or disrupting business systems, the bulletin said. A cyber actor could use cameras placed on safety systems to suppress alarms, trigger false alarms, or pivot to disable fail-safe mechanisms. So far, China has successfully kept U.S. regulators from blocking the use of internet-connected cameras made in China through the use of a practice known as white labeling, where the cameras are imported after they're packaged and sold by another company. An estimated 12,000 Chinese-made internet-connected cameras were in use at hundreds of critical U.S. infrastructure entities as of early 2024. So, yeah, we got to watch out for that.
You know what? There's probably no internet cameras made in the United States.
Well, that's just it. I think that's where one of the things that Trump and it happens to succeed him, that's what they need to start directing stuff here, is getting this stuff made back here in the United States of America, where we don't have to depend on getting it from a foreign country and then having to deal with all this stuff, like the spying and, we make it here. You make sure if it's something to be critical for safety and security, you double, triple, and quadruple vet everybody that works with it, and make sure you don't have any Chinese sleeper cells or something in there. Or
way
Russians
back, way back, whatever it's been, 30, 35 years ago, our first national talk show host that we had on this radio station, Chuck Harder.
Chuck Harder, yeah.
He used to, lament all of the businesses that used to be big, strong businesses here and actually manufacture things in the United States have gone away. And he advocated bringing them back then. And he had a lot of kind of wild ideas, and people like, he's crazy.
Yeah, Chicken Little, the sky's falling.
It turns out
he was right.
He was right about a lot.
Oh, yes, he was. Way ahead of his time.
Let's see. A federal judge yesterday blocked President Donald Trump's plan to offer federal buyouts to government employees in exchange for them resigning. This decision came right before the midnight deadline for workers to apply for the program put forward by Trump. Trump's Office of Personnel Management sent an offer to millions of employees last week. The offer allows employees to retain benefits and be paid through September if they agree to opt out by February 6th. The offer went to all federal employees except military personnel, those who work in national security and immigration, and postal workers.
Yeah, well, but it was the federal labor unions are the ones that brought the suit. Mm-hmm. Their union bosses were terrified that they're going to lose out on union dues as the federal workforce shrinks. And as part of that, which I don't think has been mentioned a whole lot, when they filed that suit, those unions barred the 60,000 plus federal workers who had already accepted the buyout from being allowed to make that decision. So that got put on hold. I think, the way I understand it, why aren't those workers being allowed to decide for themselves just because they're part of the union? Nobody's forcing them to take the buyout. It's their option, but their union says, no, you're a member of the union. You can't do that because it's not something that the union negotiated. So because you're part of the union paying dues, you can't do that.
Oh, well. Let's see. Also yesterday, the president signed an executive order sanctioning the International Criminal Court, ICC, which last November issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, among other leaders. Representative Elise Stefanik said the International Criminal Court shamefully equated Israel's right to defend itself with the acts of radical terror groups like Hamas. In Congress, IA co-led legislation to sanction the ICC for their attacks against American soldiers, officials, and our allies. President Trump's executive order will hold these corrupt international bureaucrats of the ICC accountable for the baseless campaign of this illegitimate court. Senator Tom Cotton said it's unfortunate that Chuck Schumer decided to protect the ICC from sanctions, as this kangaroo court targets U.S. soldiers and does Hamas's bidding. But I'm grateful that President Trump is acting, another promise made and kept by President Trump.
There you go. A semi-submersible vehicle, vessel, loaded with over 5,000 pounds of cocaine, was intercepted off the Pacific coast of Colombia, from that country's Navy on Wednesday. Officials said it marked the nation's first seizure of a so-called narco sub this year. In a social media post, Colombia's Navy said it stopped the semi-submersible about 100 nautical miles from Tumaco, which is close to the Ecuador border. Officials said the narco sub was manned by 2 Colombians and 1 Ecuadorian, and an image released by the Navy showed 3 men being detained behind dozens of piles of packages containing the alleged drugs. Officials said a total of 111 bundles were found containing 2,276 kilograms of cocaine with a street value of a mere $76 million.
Wow.
The Navy posted video of the operation, including footage that shows a spotlight shining on the semi-submersible. Another clip shows a naval ship returning to port and officers unloading large bricks of narcotics. The semi-submersibles lie very low on the ocean's surface but cannot go fully underwater. They are popular among international drug traffickers because they can often elude detection by authorities. They're battery-powered. Some of them are. Some have small engines. They don't go real fast, but they're pretty quiet, and they're so low to the water they not detected by radar generally. So they can slip. A lot of times they'll keep along the coast and go through that way and slip around, but they got this one.
Well, Google eliminating its goal of hiring more employees from historically underrepresented groups and reviewing some diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, joining other tech giants rethinking their approach to DEI. In an email to employees Wednesday, Google said it would no longer set hiring targets to improve representation in its workforce in 2020 amid calls for racial justice following the police killing of George Floyd. Google set a target of increasing by 30% the proportion of leadership representation of underrepresented groups. By 2025, Black and Latino people have long been underrepresented in the tech industry. Google's 2024 diversity report said 5.7% of its U.S. employees were Black, 7.5% were Latino. 4 years earlier, those figures were 3.7% and 5.9% respectively. National Review said some tech companies in Silicon Valley, such as Meta and Amazon, have similarly scaled back their DEI initiatives as Trump prepared to enter office. You know, I wouldn't expect anybody in the tech industry to hire me because you know, I don't feel like I'm qualified. You know, why not hire qualified people?
Well, that should be the goal of any company.
Yeah.
You know, to hire the best qualified people. And, you know, I'm all for providing schooling, training, and whatever for anybody and everybody that wants
to better
get
themselves
and wants to better themselves. You know, again, I don't think it should be set up just specifically for Blacks, Hispanics, women, whatever.
Making people more equal.
Yes, you know, make it available to everybody who wants to get out there and work to better their position, better their job status, whatever the case may be, and then go through that pool of people and hire the best ones out there. That's, you know, that should be the goal, I think, of every business or, you know, anything like that. So,
well, the president laid out his proposed U.S. takeover of the Gaza Strip, insisting it wouldn't need military action and would ensure that stability for the region would reign. That was all according to the New York Post. The Gaza Strip would be turned over to the United States by Israel at the conclusion of fighting. The Palestinians, people like Chuck Schumer, would have already been resettled in far safer and more beautiful communities with new and modern homes in the region. They would actually have a chance to be happy, safe, and free. The U.S., working with great development teams from all over the world, would slowly and carefully begin the construction of what would become one of the greatest and most spectacular developments of its kind on Earth. No soldiers by the U.S. would be needed. Stability for the region would reign. C-SPAN said Caroline Leavitt was quoted as saying the president has not committed to boots on the ground in Gaza. The U.S. is not going to pay for the rebuilding of Gaza. This is an out-of-the-box idea. His goal is lasting peace in the Middle East for all people in the region.
Most of the ones that are against it are upset about relocating all the Palestinians, Gazans, or what, you know, however you want to label them.
So what I understand
but
is
it would be a temporary thing.
Yeah, he would move them out while they rebuild.
While they rebuild.
If they wanted to move back,
yeah, then it's up to them.
That's right.
Yeah, they just, you know, because I mean, I saw a video of this last night. I watched the network news, which I don't normally do, but I watched it, and it's just, I mean, you know, there's nothing left. Well, the stuff left standing is nothing but rubble. You know, there's no place for them to live, and this is just an idea that he's floating out there in order to redevelop the area and give them some place nice to live. So, hey, if people in O'Fallon, Illinois area were startled by a loud boom Wednesday night and were wondering what caused the noise, it wasn't thunder, a sonic boom, or a blown transformer. As some might have suspected, it was an old military munition, according to O'Fallon police. When Caseyville Township sewer system employee Tim Zering was digging for a new sewer line on Wednesday, he unearthed a suspicious object using a metal detector. We found a pretty big radar signature in the yard. We sent our probe down and hit something. O'Fallon police officers arrived to find what appeared to be a military munition. While some of us thought it would make for a cool doorstop or a paperweight, we ultimately decided it was best to contact our friends over at Scott Air Force Base, the department wrote on its Facebook page. The EOD unit at Scott inspected the object and determined it to be a live 90-millimeter projectile that was estimated to be 80 years old from an old anti-aircraft gun. They x-rayed it and determined that it was a live round. It had the fuse and explosive still inside of it. Police said the EOD unit took possession of the projectile and conducted a controlled detonation about 7:45 p.m. Wednesday, producing a loud noise heard by many in the area. Police Lieutenant Nick Stewart said, "I'll be honest, we didn't know how loud it was going to be when it went off." Scott Air Base spokesperson said they typically notify neighboring communities about ordnance disposal through social media. They also send notifications to all Scott-associated personnel and family members through an internal email and phone system. The folks at Scott Air Force Base said the munitions origin is currently unknown, but base historians are researching potential sources, including the possibility of a former artillery training range that may have been in that area back in the day, around World War II or whatever. Officials urge the public to always leave potential munitions or explosive hazards untouched and contact local law enforcement.
Well, for those of you who like to go to Lake of the Ozarks, the Missouri Department of Transportation announced the project to remove the toll booths from the community bridge will start next week. Crews will start removing the booths from the bridge on Camden County Route MM on Monday. The work should be done by May 1st. Route MM will be open during the entire project, but drivers should expect delays. So
well, they kept their promise.
They did. They paid for the bridge, and now they're going to take the toll booths are out.
Yeah.
So,
so
we got about a minute here before 8 o'clock. Ashley Crump has a birthday today.
Coach Crump?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Ashley.
Then tomorrow, Annabelle Beckett's going to be 11. Ronald Eaton has a birthday tomorrow. Alexis Bird. The theater, what is it? The teacher, Kimmy Wibbenmeyer.
Drama teacher.
Drama teacher, that's what I was trying to think of. She has a birthday tomorrow. And then David Hartwick, who told me he's retiring from the hospital. He was kind of been part-time.
Yeah.
And so his birthday is tomorrow, and he's retiring from Missouri Baptist. And then Michelle Landeros. And she has a birthday Sunday. You can usually find her helping people over there at Lowe's. We are AM 1560 KTUI Sullivan 94.1 FM. You can pick us up on YouTube this morning. I don't know what's wrong with Facebook. We'll try to get that working. But it's 8 o'clock. Here's the news.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The January jobs report is just in, and in a big slowdown from December, America's employers hired just 143,000 people last month.
Economists had expected 170,000 jobs to be added at companies, government agencies, and nonprofits. The job market is significantly lower than the post-COVID recovery period. The trend has been downward from the record of 7.2 million jobs in 2021 to 4.5 million the next year, and then 3 million in 2023. The Labor Department also reports employers are posting fewer jobs, down from a record 12.2 million in March 2022 to 7.6 million this past December.
Correspondent George Williams says healthcare and retail led the way in last month's hiring. The unemployment rate slipped to 4%. 2 people are dead after a severe storm roared across eastern Tennessee last night. Authorities say that powerful storm may have spun off a tornado. Another manifestation of the Trump effect, the NCAA reversing its policy on so-called transgender female athletes.
A day after President Trump signed an executive order to keep men out of women's sports, the country's largest college sports organization changed course. The NCAA announced it will limit competition in women's sports to student athletes assigned female at birth only. The policy update is effective immediately and applies to all student athletes regardless of previous eligibility. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. is not getting out of the foreign aid business, but from now on, he says the aid we do provide will make sense and will serve the national interest. This as the Trump administration places most of the 10,000 U.S. AID staffers on administrative leave. Watching Wall Street ahead of the opening bell this morning, Dow futures up 16 points, NASDAQ futures down 8 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Heard me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Hi, this is Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. We make the amazing Solaire infrared gas grills that are built to last and will consistently deliver better than restaurant grilled food. The Solaire infrared burner heats up to 1,000 degrees in just 3 minutes, even in the dead of winter. The high heat locks in the juices and flavor and grills food faster. Learn more about these fantastic USA-made grills at BestHotGrill.com. Solaire hot, fast grills at BestHotGrill.com.
A California judge has sentenced L.A. Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani's former interpreter to 4+ years in prison for bank and tax fraud, and he has to pay millions in restitution to his former boss.
Ippei Mizuhara sat motionless in a court as the judge read out the sentence. His lawyer had tried one more time to ask for leniency, arguing his client was under significant financial stress and suffering from a gambling addiction when he stole from the baseball player. Mr. Mizuhara apologized. He said his actions would affect him for the rest of his life. But the prosecution said the interpreter had taken advantage of Shohei Ohtani by lying, cheating, and stealing. They said his behavior was shameless.
The BBC's Samantha Granville. The UK government announcing plans to dismantle the remains of London's Grenfell Tower. The announcement comes almost 8 years after the deadliest fire in Britain since World War II swept through the high-rise apartment building, killing 72 people. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. California's governor looking to jumpstart a requirement that houses be more fire resistant.
The rules require homeowners in high-risk areas to clear combustible materials like dead plants and wooden furniture from within 5 feet of their homes. The regulations were signed into law in 2020 and were originally intended to take effect in 2023, but they still haven't been written. Experts say having that 5-foot rule in place could have made a difference for some in the deadly January wildfires around Los Angeles. I'm Ben Thomas.
A New Hampshire man has become the second person known to be living with a pig kidney. Massachusetts General Hospital says Tim Andrews recovered sufficiently after the January 25th transplant to leave the hospital a week later. Andrews calls himself a new man, free from 2 years of dialysis. He's the first of 3 patients in a Mass General pilot study of pig kidneys. More on these stories at townhall.com.
With News on Missouri Net, I'm Marshall Griffin. A U.S. Senate committee has passed legislation designed to bring transparency to buying tickets for concerts and sporting events. Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt says the bill would require ticket sellers to include an itemized list of all fees included in the cost of a ticket.
There's been a lot of confusion and a lot of people being upset about how their complaints have been handled. So this is really a consumer protection effort to make sure that consumers are treated fairly by, whether it's Live Nation or these other companies that, they're buying concert tickets from.
The Federal Trade Commission would be given the task of enforcing the proposed requirements. A vote by the full U.S. Senate comes next. A Missouri House committee is reviewing several bills that push back against the state's new minimum wage law. A majority of Missouri voters approved the law last November to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2026 and require businesses to provide paid sick leave to workers. And a new meat sciences laboratory that's set to be built at the University of Missouri-Columbia will be named after former Governor Mike Parson. This is Missouri Net.
When a parent sees their child smile, they see hope. Aleem hoped that his son Rajib would have an easier life than he had. You see, Rajib, just like his father, was born with a cleft. But thanks to Smile Train, both father and son received free, life-changing surgeries, transforming their smiles into symbols of hope. To learn more and support the Global Cleft community, visit smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, changing the world one smile at a time.
My doctor said I could use something called a biosimilar. Then she told me what it is.
A biosimilar is a type of biologic medication. Just like brand name drugs have generic versions, original biologics can have biosimilars.
So I asked what the benefits are and if they work the same.
Biosimilars have the same safety, effectiveness, and quality as the original biologic. They also offer more medication options at potentially more competitive prices.
My doctor said I could learn more at fda.gov/biosimilars.
At Sullivan Bank, we are committed to being a step up in service. We support our customers through every chapter of life. This includes your business endeavors, which is why we offer our Sullivan Bank Business app, where you can deposit your business checks, make transfers, and receive real-time alerts. Stop by Sullivan Bank today to experience a step up in service for yourself.
New Testament Baptist Church in Sullivan is starting a new addiction recovery ministry called Life Issues. It's a biblical approach to the 12 steps, bringing scriptural principles into personal focus and making them come alive for transformational living. Whether you struggle with addictions, food, depression, anxiety, or relationships, you'll be encouraged to see how others have found a new way of life with hope for the future through this program. Life Issues will meet weekly on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. at New Testament Baptist Church. You're not alone. To find out more, contact New Testament Baptist Church at 573-468-3334.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol reported that a Barnhart man was killed in an accident in St. Louis County at 1:46 p.m. yesterday on Tesson Ferry Road south of Walden Ridge Drive. A 30-year-old man from Farmington was driving a 2012 Chevrolet Silverado across the center line and struck a 1998 GMC 400 driven by the 57-year-old man from Barnhart. The man from Barnhart was taken to Barnes Jewish Hospital by Melville EMS, where he was pronounced deceased. The driver of the Silverado had serious injuries. He was taken to Mercy Hospital South by Melville EMS. 3 local people were arrested in St. Louis County at 11:46 last night. 30-year-old Kyle J. Blankenship of Sullivan arrested on a patrol charge of possession of a controlled substance, 1 milliliter of fentanyl, and possession of drug paraphernalia. 30-year-old Dustin W. Brown of Bourbon and 31-year-old Allison R. Jenkins of Sullivan were both arrested on patrol charges of possession of a controlled substance, 1 pill of fentanyl. They were all taken to the Eureka Police Department and later released. The patrol made an arrest in Franklin County at 3:16 p.m. yesterday. 41-year-old Christy L. Ingram of Villa Ridge arrested on a Pacific Police Department failure to appear on a traffic offense ×2. Franklin County failure to appear on non-traffic offenses. She was taken to the Franklin County Adult Detention Facility and was bondable. At 7:52 a.m. yesterday in Franklin County, 49-year-old James C. Sanders of Sullivan arrested on a Washington County felony enticement of a minor for indecent purposes and felony strong-arm rape. Sullivan Police Department, stealing, larceny, theft. Franklin County, possession of narcotic equipment and dangerous drugs. Crawford County, no license and failure to register a motor vehicle. He was taken to the Washington County Jail and held without bond. The Highway Patrol made an arrest in Crawford County at 12:55 a.m. yesterday. 35-year-old Brandon A. Wilson of Bourbon was arrested on DWI, driving while revoked, leaving the scene of a crash. He was taken to the Crawford County Jail for a 24-hour hold. In a press release from the Washington County Sheriff, Dwayne Reed, deputies with Washington County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to an assault involving a vehicle. When deputies arrived, they made contact with the victim who had been struck by the vehicle. Deputies learned that a suspect driving a 2002 Dodge Dakota had engaged in a verbal argument with the victim and then used the vehicle to hit him. The suspect then proceeded to perform donuts around the victim in an attempt to allegedly further strike him with the victim until the victim was able to defend himself with a crescent wrench, breaking the rear glass of the suspect's vehicle. This caused the suspect to flee the scene. Sheriff Reed said Timothy Portell of Cadet was taken into custody and charged with first-degree assault, armed criminal action, and property damage. Bond was set at $50,000. The Department of Economic Development, or DED, announced recently that it has awarded a total of more than $25 million to 52 projects through its Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, program to assist with various improvement projects. Funded projects include street and roadway repairs, stormwater and drainage improvements, demolition of dilapidated structures, and construction of new public facilities. Locally, the city of St. Clair was awarded $500,000 for street repairs, and Gasconade County got $529,210 for street drainage improvements. Franklin County Highway Department is closing Beaumont School Road in the Gerald area today from about 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. for cross-culvert replacement. The closure will be between 7891 Beaumont School Road and Highway ZZ. The road will be closed to all traffic, including emergency vehicles. If you have any questions, you can contact the Franklin County Highway Department at 636-583-6361. And the Missouri State Highway Patrol would like to remind the public that driver examination stations throughout the state will be closed on Wednesday, February 12th, in observance of Lincoln's birthday, and on Monday, February 17th, in observance of Washington's birthday. And the patrol wants you to know that they're hiring. They offer over 60 career paths. For current openings, you can visit bit.ly/MSHP careers to apply today. And there's a gospel hootenanny concert to benefit Sherry Pyatt, one of Sullivan's well-known and loved waitresses. Sherry took a bad fall on November 12th that basically destroyed her right hip. She had to have full hip replacement surgery. This benefit concert will be held at the Anchor Church at 285 East Springfield in Sullivan. It starts at 7 o'clock tonight. It's completely free. A love offering will be taken, and 100% of the offering will go to Sherry. That is a look at your local news on a Friday. I'm Sam Scott. Have a great weekend.
For the last couple years, my company, Level 9 Heating and Cooling, has been telling you that when it comes to your HVAC system, you've got a guy. I want you to know that in this area, I'm that guy. My name is Ben Pence, and I'm the Level 9 Sales Manager. Level 9 is committed to making sure your heating and cooling system runs at peak efficiency, both to save you money on your monthly bills and to extend the life of your system. I also want to let you know that we now offer plumbing services with a master plumber and a journeyman plumber licensed in St. Louis County, and the surrounding areas. I'm also excited to offer the preventive maintenance program for just $25 a month. We come and check your plumbing each year and your HVAC system in the spring and the fall. Preventative maintenance members also get discounts on parts and services. Level 9 Heating and Cooling is a proud premier Lennox dealer, but we service all brands. You can contact me at 636-239-3581. Remember that when it comes to heating, cooling, and now plumbing, I'm your guy.
In recent funeral notices, Donald James Ernie Fuchs of Owensville passed away Tuesday, January 28th at the age of 84. Survived by his wife, Glenda, his children, Darren Fuchs and wife Becky of Owensville, Dale W. Fuchs and wife Alicia of Colorado Springs, Colorado, and Don Fuchs of Jefferson City, a sister, Sharon Hargis, and husband Lynn of Highland Park, Illinois, grandsons Connor Fuchs and wife Brittany, and Jason Fuchs and Dylan Fuchs. Funeral services will be held Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Gottenstrader Funeral Home in Owensville. Burial will be at the Oak Hill Cemetery in Oak Hill. Visitation will be from 4 until 8 p.m. this evening at the Gottenstrader Funeral Home Chapel. Mildred Marie Campbell, née Brakefield of Leesburg, passed away Friday, January 31st at the age of 85. Survived by 4 sons, Andrew and wife Marcia Campbell, and Dale and wife Judy Campbell, and Joshua and wife Megan Campbell, all of Cuba, and Peter Gregg and wife Janie Campbell of Bourbon. 5 daughters, Julie and husband Dan Gargas of Leesburg, Barb and husband Bill Bridgman of Sullivan, Marie and husband Larry Whitaker of Union, Charlotte and husband David Gargas of Bourbon, and Becky and husband Michael Davis of Cuba. Her brother David and wife Mary Brakefield of Wyoming, a sister Vivian and husband Charles Ledbetter of Leesburg, 23 grandchildren, 17 great-grandchildren, nieces, nephews, other relatives, and many friends. Funeral services will be held Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. Interment will take place at the Campbell Cemetery in Leesburg. Visitation will be held from 4 until 8 p.m. this evening, then again on Saturday from 10 a.m. until the time of services at 11 at the Mizell Funeral Home in Cuba. Norma Lee Scott, née Helling of Fenton, passed away Wednesday, January 29th at the age of 92. Survived by her son Neil and wife Lisa Scott of Pacific, her daughter Nancy Scott Muir of Fenton, 3 grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, and a great-great-grandchild. Funeral services will be held Monday at 11 a.m. at the Russell Colonial Funeral Home in St. Clair. Burial in the Midlawn Memorial Gardens in Union. Visitation will be Monday from 9 until the time of services at 11 at the Russell Colonial Funeral Home in St. Clair. Memorials may be made to the Vandover Baptist Church in Fenton in the name of Norma Scott. Joe Dale Midget of Steelville passed away Wednesday, February 5th at the age of 77. Survived by his wife, Kay, his children, Brad Midget of Cherryville, Danielle and husband Michael Ritkowski, Aaron Midget, and Elliot Midget and fiancée Amber Wolfrey, all of Steelville. 12 grandchildren, many nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and friends. Visitation will be Monday from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Hudson Funeral Home in Steelville. Funeral services will immediately follow at 2. Eileen Pullman of Rosebud passed away Thursday, February 6th at the age of 90. Survived by her children, Ramona Pickett and husband Jim of St. Charles, Dean Pullman and wife Joyce of Rosebud, Terry Pullman and wife Sandy of Owensville, and Gary Pullman and wife Amy of Rosebud. 8 grandchildren, 16 great-grandchildren, other relatives, many friends. Funeral services will be held on Friday, February 14th at 11 a.m. at the Gottenstrader Chapel in Owensville. Burial will be in the Rosebud Methodist Cemetery. Visitation will be on Thursday the 13th from 4 until 8 p.m. at the Gottenstrader Chapel in Owensville. Gary Williman of Rosebud passed away Wednesday, February 5th at the age of 70. Survived by his wife Karen, a sister-in-law Judy Williman of Rosebud, and a brother-in-law Dennis Enke, and fiancée Rachel Bethel of St. Clair. Funeral services will be held Saturday, February 15th at 1 p.m. at Gottenstrader Chapel in Owensville. Burial will be in St. John's Evangelical Cemetery in Swiss. Visitation will be Saturday, February 15th from 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. at the Gottenstrader Chapel in Owensville. Roberta Ann Arnold passed away Sunday at the age of 85, survived by her daughters Linda Bacon and husband Ray of Bourbon, Brenda McCormick of St. James, Vicky Stowe and significant other Jim Fujimoto of Bourbon, Kim Courtney and husband Mike of Union, and Tammy Guion of Bourbon, a sister Carol Campbell and husband Jack of Rolla, 12 grandchildren, 45 great-grandchildren, 9 great-great-grandchildren, numerous nieces, nephews, other relatives, and many friends. A celebration of life will be planned for a later date. Cremation will take place. All arrangements under the direction of the Eaton Funeral Home and Cremation Center of Sullivan.
Welcome to Compass Health Network, where your smile is our priority. If you are struggling to find dental care that accepts Medicaid, we've got you covered. From routine checkups to complex procedures, our skilled, board-certified dentists provide top-notch care with compassion. Don't wait any longer. Get the care you need today. Call 844-853-8937 to book an appointment with one of our caring dentists. Visit compasshealthnetwork.org to find a location near you.
At Seidenstricker Nobe Partners, we know the right equipment makes all the difference. That's why we're bringing you Spring into Green savings. Right now, save up to $8,600 off MSRP on a new John Deere compact tractor. Plus, get 0% financing for 60 months with zero down. When you choose Seidenstricker Nobe, you're not just getting a tractor, you're getting a partner. Visit snpartners.com. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 4/30/2025. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Looking at sports on this Friday from the Sullivan Bank studios of KTUI Radio, this is Bobby D. The Blues dropped one last night, giving up a goal late, falling to the Florida Panthers. Here's Alex Ferrario with the Blues recap.
Last night, the Blues continued their homestand, welcoming in the Florida Panthers. In the first period, the Blues would score first, as it would be Zach Bolduc standing in front of the net. 3 minutes and 31 seconds in, 1-0 Blues lead. But then back-to-back goals by the Panthers before the period would end would take the 2-1 lead. Matthew Tkachuk, a power play goal. Blues would even it up in the second period. Oscar Sundqvist on the power play. Tie game all the way up until the final 12 seconds of the third period, when Matthew Tkachuk would score his second of the year with a deflection, standing in front of Joel Hofer. The Blues now dip to 2 games below 500, fall to the Panthers 3-2. Back at it on Saturday against the Blackhawks. Puck drop at 6, pregame skate at 5:30 on the St. Louis Blues Radio Network.
Thank you very much, Alex, and we'll have that game on 102.1 FM. Working to add depth to an infield that could soon be without 10-time Gold Glove winner Nolan Arenado, the Cardinals dealt for third baseman outfielder Michael Hellman from the Twins on Thursday. The Cardinals sent back cash considerations for Hellman, who had 3 hits and 10 at-bats over 9 games with the Twins in 2024. It is the first money-spent acquisition of the offseason for the Cardinals, who uncharacteristically have yet to sign a free agent. The Cards and Red Sox have again engaged in trade talks centered around Arenado in recent days, according to sources from MLB.com. Arenado has a full no-trade clause in his contract, and he exercised that option in December to block a potential trade to the Astros. Boston would prefer to sign former Astros All-Star Alex Bregman, but they're in a bidding war with at least 2 other teams for his services. Hellman, who's 28, made his MLB debut September 3rd of last season. The Texas A&M University product had 3 hits and 10 at-bats, including 2 doubles in 9 games with the Twins. The ECC Falcons softball team got one of the top Class 4 players in Missouri during the signing day on Wednesday. First-team All-State infielder Casey Jenkins from Bolivar has signed to play at East Central next season. College scoreboard from last night. Women's basketball was number 6 LSU, holding off Missouri 71-60. Grace Slaughter with 18, Ashton Judd 17, Lanaya Randall 15 for Mizzou. Columbia College women's basketball secured its 20th win of the season, 84-48 victory over William Woods University last night. Mallory Shetley from Sullivan had a game-high 24 points for Columbia with 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. Emma Daniels from Owensville had 7 points with a rebound and a block for Columbia. Cindy Booker from Steelville had a double-double for William Woods, 11 points and 10 rebounds. Quincy down Missouri S&T 76-61. Anna Finley from Owensville, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. Drury downing Truman State 88-64. Caitlin Patke from Borgia, 2 points for Truman State. Abby Peterson from Sullivan had 3 points and 2 rebounds as UMSL lost to Lewis University 65-54 last night. Men's basketball, the wins keep rolling in for the Missouri S&T Miners, with the 5th-ranked ball club defeating the Quincy Hawks 91-82 to improve to 19-1 overall. Adam Rickman from Borgia had 1 point, 4 steals, 2 rebounds for the Miners. College softball finals from Thursday. Missouri Baptist beat Nelson University 4-2. Michaela Johnson from St. Clair started shortstop from Mobab and was 1 for 4. At the Aggie Classic at Texas A&M, they beat Utah State 11-5 and Purdue 10-2. At the Kachikawa Classic out in Tempe, Arizona, Grace Molitor from Washington, who played this past season at Washington High School ball, graduated in December and enrolled at Arizona State and started shortstop for the Sun Devils. She had a walk, a run scored, a sacrifice bunt as Arizona State beat Maryland 7-1. Baseball scores from Thursday. Columbia College shutting out Spring Arbor University 8-0. Chase McCaig from Herman 1 for 2, a double with 2 RBI for Columbia. Lane Feeler from Bell, 1 inning pitch, gave up a hit with 2 strikeouts. At the Henderson State Invitational in Arkadelphia, Arkansas, Emporia State defeating Henderson State 7-4. TJ Rockerbomber from Herman was 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. College schedule for today: women's basketball, Indiana State at Missouri State at 6:30. On the men's side, St. Louis University at St. Joseph's at 8 o'clock. Missouri Valley wrestling at the Benedictine Duels today. Kent State will be at Ohio University at 7 for a dual meet. Indoor track, the Northwest Missouri Bearcat Open starts today with Central Missouri, Evangel, Southwest Baptist, State Fair Community College, and Truman State. Some of the teams will be there. Hannibal LaGrange participating in the NCCAA Indoor National Championships in Cedarville, Ohio. Missouri S&T at the Gorilla Classic at Pitt State. Missouri Southern in the Steve Miller Classic in Manhattan, Kansas. SIU Edwardsville at the Mizzou Invitational. SEMO at the Husker Invite in Lincoln, Nebraska. College softball gets underway in earnest today. Missouri opens up their season at the NFCA Division I Leadoff Classic in Clearwater, Florida. They'll play Marshall at noon today and Northwestern at 3 o'clock. Missouri State opens up in the Paradise Classic at Boca Raton, Florida, playing Ole Miss at 10:15 and Kansas at 2:45. Arizona State will play Miami of Ohio at 6:30 tonight in the Kachikawa Classic out in Tempe, Arizona. Evangel has a couple of games in the Branson Bash in Branson today, playing St. Mary of the Woods at 1 o'clock, Olivet Nazarene at 3. University of Illinois Chicago taking on UAB at 1 o'clock, and South Alabama at 6 o'clock in the South Alabama Invitational in Mobile. Lincoln University in the West Texas Invitational in Canyon, Texas, playing Eastern New Mexico at 9 a.m. and West Texas A&M at 3:45. At the 901 Classic in Memphis, Tennessee, Lindenwood will play Hampton University at 12:30. Also today, Missouri Baptist against Mid-American Christian at 1:30, and they'll play Tabor College at 4. At the Mustang Roundup in Wichita Falls, Texas, Southwest Baptist against Northwestern Oklahoma State at 12:30, and then Cameron University at 5:15. Texas A&M takes on number 19 Baylor at 7 o'clock tonight in the Aggie Classic at College Station. College baseball today, Arkansas Tech at Central Missouri at 3 o'clock. College of the Ozarks at Evangel, a doubleheader at noon and 2:30. Columbia College will play Spring Arbor University in Olathe, Kansas at 10 today. At the Henderson State Invitational, Emporia State against Wichita Baptist at 1. Hannibal LaGrange at York University, noon and 2:30 in a doubleheader. Jefferson College in the Saluki Invitational in Millington, Tennessee. Also McKendree University at Harding at 1 o'clock. Quincy at Lincoln Memorial University in Tennessee at 3. Truman State at Pittsburgh State at 3 o'clock. In the local scoreboard from last night, girls basketball JV game at St. Clair. Sullivan beats St. Clair 40-18. Owensville with a big conference win over Herman, 48-27 in the varsity matchup. The Dutch girls take the JV game 32-16. St. James Downs Pacific 45-17 in varsity. They played 2 quarters of JV. St. James on top 34-4. Rolla girls down Cuba 59-20 last night. Iberia over Bell 58-38. Boys basketball, St. Clair won the JV game with Sullivan last night 38-28. It was Lynn defeating Bourbon 58-45 in varsity, 57-17 in JV. New Haven with a come-from-behind win, 59-56 over Grandview in the varsity game last night. Grandview won the JV game 48-18. High school wrestling from Thursday in a meet at Windsor. St. Clair beat Sullivan 48-24. And then St. Clair beat Windsor 60-18. Sullivan lost to Windsor. In the quad meet at Owensville last night, the Owensville girls beat Fatima 36-10. South Callaway 42-4 and Principia 42-18. On the boys' side, Fatima down to Owensville 59-24. Owensville beat South Callaway 60-18 and Principia 60-12. And in boys wrestling, Washington won a dual meet over Pacific 50-24. Coming up tonight, girls basketball, one game on the schedule. St. Clair at Sullivan. It's a varsity girls and boys doubleheader. Girls game tipping off at 5:30. We'll broadcast those games tonight. Boys basketball, besides that Sullivan St. Clair game, Bell is at by Burnham at 5:30. Borge at St. Dominic, freshman JV and varsity at 4:30. Steelville at Bourbon. It'll be homecoming, 5:30 start time. Cuba at Osage at 5. Owensville at Herman, one half of JV, followed by varsity starting at 6 o'clock. Union at New Haven, it's homecoming there at 6 o'clock start. Pacific at St. James. The freshmen will play at the middle school at 5:30. JV and varsity to high school with JV at 5:30. Washington at North Point at 5:30 as well. High school wrestling for today. Owensville at the Buffalo Girls Tournament. Pacific in the Lift for Life Girls Tournament. Sullivan and Steelville beat the Central Park Hills Girls Tournament. And Pacific at JV Boys Tournament starts at 4:30 today. Those other tournaments start at 4 o'clock. Sports on the air. We have high school basketball tonight. Varsity girls boys doubleheader. St. Clair at Sullivan. 5:15 pregame for the girls contest with tip-off at 5:30. Followed by the boys game. You hear them both on 102.1 KTUI FM. That's your look at sports on this Friday from the Sullivan Bank Studios of KTUI Radio. Have a great day, everybody. This is Bobby D.
I'm Robert Scott with Bruce Key & Scott Tax Preparation in Sullivan. The Missouri Property Tax Credit Claim, also known as the Circuit Breaker Program, gives back a portion of rent or real estate tax paid for that year by persons 65 and older or persons 18 to 64 that receive SSI, SSD, or Veterans Disability. This credit is for a maximum of $750 for renters and $1,100 for owners who owned and occupied their home. The amount the person receives is based on the amount of real estate taxes or rent paid and the total household income. If you think you qualify, come see me, Robert Scott, at Bruce Scott Tax Preparation at 900 Elmont Road in Sullivan, or call for an appointment at 573-468-8110. Please be aware that this program does not assist with personal property taxes.
It is 29 minutes in front of 9 o'clock. I'm Sam Scott. Glad to have you along. Bobby D along with me this morning. And I want to tell you about Midstate Paving. You know, you can call them at 573-627-2039. That's 573-627-2039. They do paving, chip seal, site work, drainage, striping, seal coating, septic services, grading, lake dredging and repair, ponds, demolition, streets, parking lots, driveways. Again, the number is 573-627-2039 for Midstate Paving. All right, well, today, in 1817, Baltimore, Maryland became the first American city to become lit with gaslight. We have lots of gaslighters.
Yeah, a lot of gaslighting going on out there.
Market and Lemon Streets, that are now known as North Holiday and East Baltimore, were the first public lighting in the city. In 1964, on this very day, Beatlemania begins.
Oh, no.
The Beatles arrived.
The mopheads.
Or invaded the United States.
Yeah.
1971, Swiss women were granted the right to vote. Since 1868, Swiss women had been demanding the right to vote, and every time it was denied. Nearly every 2 decades, women's suffrage would be brought before the various committees, councils, and parliament, and the motions were ignored or passed on. The European Convention on Human Rights brought the issue to the table once again, and finally, 1971, Swiss women had a voice. However, there were still many regions in Switzerland that did not allow women to vote at certain levels of Swiss elections. It wouldn't be till 1991 that all women could vote at all levels in Swiss elections.
Our women here thought they had it bad.
Yeah. 1976, you know, we generally think the Swiss are pretty progressive, I think.
Yeah, in a lot of things they are. Yeah.
1976, speed skater Sheila Young became the first American to win 3 Winter Olympic medals during the Innsbruck Winter Olympics in 1976. She brought home medals she brought home gold in 500-meter speed skating, silver in the 1,500-meter speed skating, and bronze in the 1,000-meter. And in 1984, the Space Shuttle Challenger astronauts Bruce McCandless II and Robert L. Stewart completed the first untethered spacewalk during their STS-41B mission. And in 2021, Sarah Thomas became the first woman to referee a Super Bowl championship game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 31-9. And I understand we've got a guy that's going to play for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl that's from Missouri S&T.
Yeah, Tershawn Wharton.
Yeah.
Played college ball at S&T. He was drafted by the Chiefs. Has been on their. He was hurt one year. Got hurt late in the season. Didn't play in the Super Bowl, but he's played. I don't know if it was last year before last. Yeah, he's been on the team probably 4 years now, maybe maybe a little bit longer than that. So, yeah, has had a couple of. The last one he played in, I know he had a couple of big tackles on some short yardage running plays. Maybe had a sack or forced a fumble or something. Had a couple of good plays. But speaking of the Super Bowl, as we just were,
yes,
prices on the secondary ticket market are much less than last year's big game and declining. But still high by historical standards.
Yeah, well.
The average price for the Chiefs-Eagles game at TickPick was $6,552 as of Tuesday. And if that amount holds, it would be that website's third highest for a Super Bowl. Last year's game between the Chiefs and 49ers had an average price on that site at $91.36. That's not $91.36. That's $9,136.
But Trump's bringing the price of everything down.
Well, it's down this year. Hey, there you go.
I know. There you go.
The only other Super Bowl to attract a higher average price.
Isn't Trump going to be there?
He is.
Yeah.
Van Bondi's going to be there.
Yes.
Yeah, the new AG.
And Taylor Swift.
Well, yeah, and that's a recent. Well, I won't go. No, we won't go there.
Okay.
The only other Super Bowl to attract a higher average price was 4 years ago, when the amount was $7,046 for the Chiefs game against the Buccaneers, when the crowd was limited to 25,000 fans because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
You mean the COVID-19 farce?
Yeah. Okay. I'm just reading what's on the paper.
Oh,
here, Sam.
okay, all right.
The lowest price for this year's game was just less than $4,000, which has declined about 30% since the matchup was set. I think this is a good matchup. I don't know what people are,
Well,
I don't know why people are really kind of dishing on it a little bit.
Yeah.
Game Time reports a similar trend, also knowing that last year's game had a minimum price of $8,764 shortly before kickoff. With last year's Vegas hype and the 49ers fan frenzy behind us, prices are seeing a natural market correction, according to Game Time. Plus, with no major pent-up demand from either fan base, tickets are looking better than ever. Lowest ticket prices at Vivid Seats and StubHub were also less than $4,000. TickPick co-CEO Brett Goldberg said there were a number of reasons why ticket prices are notably lower than last year. That game was the first in Las Vegas, which created even more fan interest than usual. The close proximity of Allegiant Stadium to the nation's 8th busiest airport and the Las Vegas Strip Entertainment Corridor that includes many of the world's largest hotels contributed to the record prices. Hotel capacity in New Orleans is limited, with about 26,000 rooms in the city center, and even home rentals are at a premium. If you try to book a hotel right now, it's going to be pretty challenging. This is the third Super Bowl in a row for the Chiefs, second in 3 years for the Eagles, and that, of course, is saying, that's kind of tempering people's interest. Now, I think if the Bills won, you would have seen a very different dynamic here, Goldberg said. There is a part of that Chiefs fan base that can't afford to go to the Super Bowl 3 times, but that's a very small segment of the fan base that could do that. And I can understand that.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't afford to go once.
Yeah, even the Eagles have a little bit of fatigue from being in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. We're hearing directly from fans. I went 2 years ago. I don't think I could pull it off again this year. Would they love to go? Sure, but the impracticality on it, a $10,000 trip or two becomes very limiting. So, yeah.
Well, according to a poll.
A poll.
I don't know. It didn't say which
flag poll. Is
a poll.
Yeah.
1 in 5 women and 1 in 6 men believe that the winner of the Super Bowl is picked in advance.
Yeah, and there's a lot of media stuff out there that's really blowing that up.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was interesting.
So what are they saying? The Chiefs winning?
No, they just say it's scripted. Now a lot of people will say that the officials favor the Chiefs.
Well, yes.
And that, I think, both Roger Goodell and a former head of the Officials Association are saying, okay, I'm sorry, but 17 crews consisting of 138 officials are all collaborating together to favor just one team for a 3-year stretch. Maybe not.
Yeah, but when they find out that, when Doge finds out that how much money that's being given to those referees,
if they find that out, then, they'll have to pay the consequences, I guess. But, until then.
New Orleans set for Sunday's big game. I hear there's only one game on Sunday. Is that what
I think it is, yeah. Well, one football game.
Oh, one football game. Okay. Anyway, they're set. They're under heightened security. The city is hoping the big game gives the local economy the boost they're hoping for. Hotel rates have spiked in certain businesses like luxury car services, florists, and other special event-focused ventures are seeing increases, while French Quarter restaurants are hoping for a bump this weekend. Last year's game had a $1 billion impact on Vegas, though skeptics say those numbers are likely inflated. And,
no.
You know what? I don't know who writes these stories for me, but they are a Starbucks fan because I talk.
Really?
For somebody who doesn't drink coffee and doesn't go to Starbucks, I talk more about Starbucks than they've
Well, you could do something about that.
I could quit doing it.
Yeah.
But it kind of,
A lot of them have interesting stuff in there. Yeah, that's true.
They attempt to reintroduce themselves as a place where customers can linger as long as you have some money. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you just go in there to hang out,
anything, they kick you out.
If you just drink water and charge your phone, they're kicking you out.
They're pushing
the
out
change.
the door.
The chain is encouraging baristas to write doodles and messages on their to-go cups. I thought they were doing that already, as well as offering ceramic cups for dine-in patrons. The more personalized touches are part of the wider Starbucks effort to foster moments of connection with the customers. Bloomberg reporting, citing a company memo, though some baristas worry about slowing down service as Starbucks strives to cut wait times.
Doesn't affect me.
No.
I don't go there.
Does the person that fills your coffee cup write on it?
No, I'm the one that fills my coffee cup.
That's what I thought.
As you can see, there's
you should just write a love note on there to
yourself. Yeah, a little Sharpie. No, I don't. Yeah, I'd pull it out of my pocket, write something, I wipe it off later, dry erase marker or something. The U.S. Army recently announced that it shattered previous recruiting records with December 2024 being the most productive December in 15 years.
You know what? I talked to veterans and people who were in the military, and there was a lot of people that were not happy with, for a long time, have not been happy with the way the military is. And I'm not just talking about under the Biden administration, although it was, they say it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But
even before that,
the military,
even during the first Trump administration.
Yes. But now I think Trump's been putting an effort to prioritize the military and things like that, and I think it's working.
Well, obviously so.
Yeah.
The branch. This is just the Army.
Yes.
The branch reported it listed nearly 350 soldiers every day during the month of December of 2024. Wow. That announcement came on social media. Our recruiters have one of the toughest jobs, inspiring the next generation of #soldiers to serve. Congratulations and keep up the great work. #BAYCB, Army recruiting officials wrote in a post on X. In case you don't know what that means, be all you can be.
Yes.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth took to X to share the news as well. Bottom line, America's youth want to serve under the bold and strong America First leadership of President Donald Trump. At Real Donald Trump. In October of 2023, the Army unveiled a series of sweeping changes to its recruiting enterprise, including an expanded focus on a larger share of the labor market and the creation of a specialized talent acquisition workforce. The Army surged medical providers to military entrance processing stations across the country to help make the enlistment process more efficient, and leveraged innovative new technologies to reach expanded audiences and help identify candidates interested in military service. There was also a notable expansion of the branch's Future Soldier Preparatory Course, which helps potential recruits overcome academic and physical fitness barriers to service, while allegedly not sacrificing quality for quantity. Still, the U.S. military missed its recruiting goals by 41,000 in 2023. In 2024, the Army announced it was cutting its force by 24,000 in a restructuring to, quote, help the service fight in future wars, unquote. The almost 5% of jobs cut affected posts that remained empty, according to the Army. So maybe we'll get some word from the rest of the services coming up.
Strong holiday shopping season helped Amazon deliver strong quarterly profit and revenue in what CEO Andy Jassy called the most successful holiday period yet, but the retail giant's outlook fell short as it warned a stronger dollar could lead to its slowest growth on record. Its stock slumped in pre-market trading as the AI race heats up. Amazon also warned of capacity issues in cloud computing, even as it looks to invest about $100 billion this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of money. Of course, they've got it. Well, on paper at least they have it.
Well,
yeah, and that's where most of the stuff is done is
yeah,
on paper.
Or Bitcoin.
Or Bitcoin, yeah. Well, here's a shocker.
Okay.
Human remains were found in a suitcase drifting in the East River in New York City. That's pretty much a daily headline in New York.
That's what I was thinking. Is
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
yesterday
Yeah.
and the day before
Yeah.
and the
Yeah. Yeah. The NYPD Harbor Unit discovered the remains near Governor's Island. The grisly discovery was made on Wednesday at about 5:30 p.m. The suitcase contained a man's torso, which was taken to the medical examiner's office for investigation. The torso was zipped into a sleeping bag that was stuffed into the suitcase. Suitcase also contained what appears to be a reusable grocery store style bag. No other body parts have been recovered. Police did not immediately confirm how long the remains were there or how they ended up in the suitcase. I'm seeing a future Law and Order, storyline here. The medical examiner's office will determine the cause of death. Okay, he got hacked up. I mean, maybe there were other reasons. I don't know. No further details have been provided because the investigation is ongoing. Yeah.
My wife and I were watching TV. We watched a couple of episodes of Shifting Gears that we hadn't caught up on yet with Tim Allen and Kat Dennings, and then she wanted to watch something that I'd never heard of. And it was an ABC show, but anyway, this woman, I guess she can see things that are, kind of. What was that Poppy Montgomery show that was
Cold Case?
It was kind of like that,
Yeah.
where this woman can see things that are out of place and things like that. I don't even know what the show was called, but it was pretty interesting. I made it through the first episode. I fell asleep right at the beginning of the second one, so. I don't know how many my wife watched last night, probably 10 or 12. But, anyway, that was an interesting thing. The Shifting Gears thing, if you are a Tim Allen fan and you watched Last Man Standing, the very last episode, his green Ford F-100 truck, I don't remember what year it is, 50-something or other.
Yeah, it was late 50s, early 60s.
I don't know, but I think it was mid-50s.
I
don't remember. But anyway, his green Ford truck that was kind of iconic in the show got stolen. That was the last episode. He didn't get it back, So now in this show, Shifting Gears, he owns a mod shop, where they take old cars and
restore them
and everything. Well, anyway, so in this one episode, the truck's sitting there, and Tim Allen actually owns the truck.
Yeah.
But anyway, the truck's sitting there in the shop, and somebody goes, "Where'd this come from?" And he goes, "Oh, it was stolen out of Denver about 10 years ago." And he goes, "They've asked us to restore it before we ship it back up to that guy."
Yeah.
So
he has a habit of
I know
connecting to, he did that in Last Man Standing,
Sure.
connecting stuff back to Tool,
Tool Time, yeah.
Tool Time and all that.
Yeah, and he told his granddaughter that he goes, "It took me 10 years to convince your mother that I wasn't Santa Claus."
Yeah.
So, hey, there's a blood drive coming up here in Sullivan on Monday. So make your appointment now. They've got a goal of 60. Now, I read that they're hurting because of the weather. People couldn't get out and give blood.
Yes, and all over the country.
All over the country, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you can give blood, they're saying that you can get a free $15 e-gift card to your choice of merchant. I imagine they have a list or something. But anyway, this is going to be at the Sullivan Community Center on Monday. They'll be there from 1 to 6 p.m., and it's put on by the Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital Auxiliary, and it'll be at the Community Center on Monday. The Community Center is located at 730 West Main Street in Sullivan. You can go online at redcrossblood.org, and the sponsor code is MOBAPTHSA. That's MOBAPTHSA, and hopefully you can help them out.
Well, here's a study that probably won't surprise a lot of people. A new study shows that more than a quarter of high school-age students' time spent on their smartphones occurs in school.
No.
It comes as state lawmakers across the country are introducing and trying to pass legislation aimed at cracking down on students' cell phone usage in school. The study, spearheaded by Seattle Children's Hospital, found that among the more than 115 8th through 12th grade students that it tracked, 25% of them spent more than 2 hours on their phones during a typical 6.5-hour school day. The study found that the average time spent among all the students they tracked was roughly 1.5 hours, which contributed to 27% of their average daily use. The study's findings come just several days after the state of Colorado introduced House Bill 1135, which would require school districts in the state to adopt policies that limit the use of cell phones by students during school hours. If passed, Colorado would join 19 other states that have adopted some type of cell phone restriction for students, according to Democratic State Representative Megan Lukens. The phone has become the umbilical cord between parent and child. So the idea of a parent nowadays sending their kid to school is more terrifying, and schools, I believe, are probably concerned about litigation, violation of rights, and things of that nature, and are not doing anything about the kids on their phones. So interesting to kind of see where that goes.
They should wrap the school in a some kind of a barrier that
a little dome and
yeah. We have that out at the airport. It's called the hangar. You have to step outside sometimes to get a cell signal.
Yeah.
But the good news is that an updated iPhone SE will soon be available.
Oh, well, hey, can't wait for that.
A new version of the smartphone, Apple's entry-level model that is hundreds of dollars cheaper than the iPhone 16, is expected to go on sale later this month. Bloomberg reporting, citing
anonymous sources.
The new version will do away with the home button. Mine's already done it. I've got a 15, I think, and it's already gone. The home.
I've got an SE. It's just an old SE.
They're going to add Face ID and AI capabilities and generally look more like the iPhone 14. Apple is hoping the refresh can pump up iPhone sales, which declined domestically and in China last quarter. Mine ran the newest update the other day, and I have a new app that I just noticed it today. I think I think it updated night before last, and I have a new app. It's out there all by itself. It's called Playground. I have no idea what it is. Or, I guess it came with the upgrade. I don't know. I've been scared to press it.
Yeah, I would be too. All right, some birthdays today.
Okay.
English statesman and writer Thomas More, born 1478, served as Lord High Chancellor of England from October of 1529 to May of 1532. He wrote Utopia, published in 1516, which described the political system of an imaginary island state. Inventor businessman John Deere, 1804, founded Deere and Company, one of the largest and leading agricultural and construction equipment manufacturers in the world.
I always wonder, like Levi Strauss and John Deere and those guys, if they could see their company now.
Oh, well, some of them be rolling over.
Well, that's what
I
kind of wonder. But
yeah, Deere invented the first commercially successful steel plow in 1837. His family had moved to Illinois, and the current plows weren't cutting it. The ground, that is. So he invented this. By 1855, his factory in Moline, Illinois, was selling more than 10,000 such plows a year. It became known as the plow that broke the plains. Writer Charles Dickens, 1812, one of the greatest novelists of all time. He wrote The Pickwick Papers, David Copperfield, A Christmas Carol, Oliver Twist, Great Expectations, A Tale of Two Cities, and many, many, many others. And his characters have lingered on for, writer Laura Ingalls Wilder. We heard Bob Purdy talking about her today.
Sure,
1867, wrote the Little House on the Prairie series of children's books. She and her husband moved to Mansfield in 1894. I've been in that little house down there, the museum.
I've never been there.
It was interesting. Yeah. The farm, the Rocky Ridge farm they've got down there. What was really interesting to me was those people were small.
Oh, yeah.
That house, 5 feet door heights in most of the house. Anyway, of
Alonzo,
course.
Was that her husband's name, Alonzo?
Almanzo, yeah. An invitation to submit an article to the Missouri Ruralist in 1911 led to her permanent position as a columnist and editor And then her daughter encouraged her to start writing, the books. And the books all came out between like mid-30s to early 40s, I think. Writer Sinclair Lewis.
I waited for I actually did read the first book. But then
too.
The rest of it I saw on the TV show.
On TV show. Writer Sinclair Lewis, born 1885, won a Nobel Prize in Literature in 1930. He wrote Main Street, Babbitt, Aerosmith, Elmer Gantry, which was made into a movie, Dodsworth, and It Can't Happen Here. Swimmer actor Larry Buster Crabb, born 1908, won the 1932 Olympic gold medal in the 400-meter freestyle swimming event. Was a handsome young man.
Played Tarzan.
He played Tarzan, Flash Gordon, and Buck Rogers.
And Buck, yeah.
Yeah, in between the mid-30s to the 50s. Let's see, Army Corporal Desmond Doss, born on this date in 1919, the only conscientious objector to receive the Medal of Honor, subject to the movie Hacksaw Ridge. He was a medic and saved a bunch of people. Actor Eddie Bracken, born 1920, had some hits back in the 40s, but then probably better known for his stuff when he was older, such as National Lampoon's Vacation. He played the owner of Wally World. That's Eddie Bracken.
I see.
He was also in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. He was the team owner and Rookie of the Year, and some other stuff. Writer Gay Talese is 93, a journalist for the New York Times and Esquire magazine in the 60s. He helped define contemporary literary journalism, wrote articles about Joe DiMaggio, Frank Sinatra. He also wrote the books Honor Thy Father and Thy Neighbor's Wife. Those are two separate books. Actor Pete Postlethwaite, born 1946. He portrayed David in Alien 3. That was his big breakthrough, followed by a nomination for Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for In the Name of the Father. He was also in The Usual Suspects, The Town, and many others. Musician Sammy Johns, born 1946. One-hit wonder Chevy Van from 1973. Well, it became a hit in 1975. Let's see, actor Miguel Ferrer, born in 55, was in RoboCop, Hot Shots Part 2, Traffic, Iron Man 3 on TV, Crossing Jordan, NCIS Los Angeles. James Spader, the actor, 65, was in Pretty in Pink, Mannequin, Sex, Lies, and Videotape, True Colors on TV. He was in Boston Legal on The Practice, The Office, and The Blacklist more recently. Let's see, Garth Brooks is 63 today. All kinds of hits and albums and singles sold. David Bryan, keyboardist and backup singer for Bon Jovi, is 63. Chris Rock, the comedian actor, is 60. Was on Saturday Night Live, New Jack City, Everybody Hates Chris, Lethal Weapon 4, The Longest Yard, Grown Ups, and a bunch of others. Actor Jason Gedrick is 58 today. Was on TV Murder 1 and Boomtown, in Iron Eagle, Born on the 4th of July, and Backdraft. Robin Lively, the actress, is 53, half-sister of Blake Lively, was in The Karate Kid 3, Wildcats, Doogie Howser, Saving Grace. Ashton Kutcher, 47 today, of course, was on The 70s Show, then followed by Dude, Where's My Car, which was actually a fairly successful movie. Yeah. He was in Just Married, My Boss's Daughter, What Happens in Vegas, No Strings Attached. Did a little short stint on 2.5 Men, played Steve Jobs in the movie, and was on The Ranch on Netflix. And NFL quarterback Matthew Stafford, quarterback for the Lions, was traded to the Rams in 21, led them to a Super Bowl win. He's 37 today.
All right. I remember an episode of Buck Rogers in the 25th century. Yeah, 25th century.
Yeah, with
Gil Gerard.
Yeah.
And he was flying. There was this old pilot. It was Buster Crabbe.
Yeah.
And he said, Gil Gerard, who was 500 years old at that time, he goes, "Where'd you learn to fly like that?" And he said, "Son, I was flying like that since before you were born." And of course, Gil Gerard's like, "Oh, you think so?" And he goes, "Son, I know so." Yeah. Hey, I got a certificate here for MKBBQ. It's a $25 gift certificate. Going to give it away. Let's give it away to caller number 5. Caller number 5, 468-5101, 468-5101. Caller 5 gets this ticket. We are AM 1560 KTUI Sullivan, 94.1 FM. Pick us up on YouTube. And I got Facebook working. And pick us up all day on the TuneIn app. It is 9 o'clock. Here's the news.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Iran's supreme leader is throwing cold water on the idea of nuclear talks with the U.S., something hinted at by President Trump.
Ayatollah Ali Khamenei also suggested that there should be no negotiations with such a government, but stopped short of issuing a direct order not to engage with Washington. Khamenei's remarks to Air Force officers in Tehran on Friday appeared to contradict his own earlier remarks that opened the door to talks. The 85-year-old Khamenei always has carefully threaded his remarks about negotiating with the West. I'm Karen Shamas.
The latest jobs report came up far short of what analysts were expecting. America's employers adding just 143,000 jobs last month, while the forecast was for 170,000 new jobs. The January unemployment rate slipped to 4%. Senate Republicans, over the protest of screaming Democrats and despite this week's overnight filibuster, have confirmed Russell Vought to head the Office of Management and Budget.
Despite the dramatic gesture of an all-night and all-day non-stop Democrat marathon against Vought's nomination, there was nothing Democrats could do in the end to stop the Republican majority from advancing to a final confirmation vote. Democrats are furious that under President Trump, the White House last month issued and later rescinded a memo that called for a temporary freeze on payments for a number of federal assistance, loan, and grant programs. Bob Agnew reporting.
A Boston federal judge has temporarily halted the Trump buyout program for federal workers. That same judge is holding a hearing today on a request from 18 states to block Mr. Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship. Dublin will host Ireland's first NFL regular season game when the Pittsburgh Steelers play at Croke Park in 2025. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 31 points, the Nasdaq down 35. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey everybody, Charlie Kirk here. We're a month into the new year. How is everyone doing with their health goals? I've spent more time on the road than at home this last year. 2 years ago, I decided to take control of my health and choose PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. I needed a simple plan that fit my hectic lifestyle, and I quickly lost 30 pounds. I learned how to nourish my body while still enjoying food that supports my health. Now I have the energy and mental focus to get through my busy day. PhD can help you too, and they won't let you fail. Give them a call and schedule your weight loss consultation and see if the program is right for you. Call 864-644-1900. That is 864-644-1900. The first 11 callers mentioning healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their package. Don't wait to hit your 2025 weight loss goals. Call now or visit myphdweightloss.com. That is myphdweightloss.com. So check it out right now to lose weight. myphdweightloss.com.
Hong Kong will file a complaint against the latest U.S. tariffs on the city's products with the World Trade Organization. Its government has slammed the U.S. measures as grossly inconsistent with the relevant WTO rules, claiming they ignore the city's status as a separate customs territory. The U.S. imposed an additional 10% tariff on Chinese goods and ended a customs exception that allowed small value parcels to enter the U.S. without being taxed. The measures have already prompted China to request WTO dispute consultations with the U.S., announce retaliatory tariffs on select American imports, and an antitrust investigation of Google. Turkey has terminated the mission of Afghan diplomats who were appointed by Afghanistan's former pro-Western government. The outgoing team announced the move in a statement posted on X, saying it has handed over the embassy in Ankara to the Turkish Foreign Ministry. News and analysis at townhall.com. What's in a name? Plenty, according to the Boy Scouts of America, now to be known as Scouting America.
President and CEO Roger Crone says it's time for a name change.
It really allows us to kind of rebrand and reset. It's kind of nice to have some things that are new and fresh.
The organization has been trying to move past claims filed by tens of thousands of mostly men who said they were abused as young scouts, and the 2020 bankruptcy filing that followed. It began allowing gay youth in 2013, ended a blanket ban on gay adult leaders in 2015, welcomed girls in the Cub Scouts in 2018, and the flagship Boy Scout program in 2019. I'm Donna Warder.
The World world-famous Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show is back for a 149th year, and it's back at New York's Madison Square Garden for the first time since early 2020. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Increasing cloudiness for the KTUI listening area today. There's a chance of sprinkles after noon, high near 38. Cloudy tonight, scattered showers mainly after midnight, low around 34. Cloudy tomorrow, 60% chance of rain, mainly before 1 p.m., high near 54. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night, low around 26. Partly sunny on Sunday, high near 38. Then mostly cloudy on Sunday night, low around 24. On Monday, mostly cloudy skies, high near 39.
And right now at the studios of KTUI, I'm showing 35 degrees out at Sullivan Regional Airport. They're showing 32 degrees. It's time for the For Sale Show. If you've got something to buy, sell, or trade, you can give me a call here, 468-5101, 468-5101. You can send me a text message at 573-677-1001. You can do that anytime, of course, and you can send me an email, forsale@ktui.com. You can spell it out, F-O-R, sale, or you can use the number 4. Either way. Coming up in just a bit, going to be talking with Pastor Brooks from Bourbon, and so stay tuned for that. Right now, my list of items this morning, I got a guy that's got a 27-ton log splitter. He wants to sell it, 636-208-0754. 636-208-0754. There's a woman that's got some experience in private home health care. She said over 20 years of experience, and she's got great references. And you can call her at 573-617-8662. That's 573-617-8662. And then there's a guy that's got the 66 Ford Galaxy taillights, and he's got the home gym. He'd take $50 for either. And his number is 468-4068, 468-4068. There's a woman that's got some books on how to play the mandolin. She also has a Martin guitar. It's a 2014 model. She's wanting $2,700 for that. And she's got some Temptations cake pans. Her number is 573-764-4435. 573-764-4435. Got some big round hay bales. They're 5x5 net wrap bales, $50 a piece, and he can load them for you. 314-609-6090. 314-609-6090. And then this woman's got 60 or more Louis L'Amour books. She said just call her and make an offer at 314-308-4253. 314-308-4253. That's my list of items this morning for the For Sale Show. And it is coming up on 8 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock. Going to let you listen to this from the folks at Jerry's TV Sales and Service. And then when I get back, we're going to be talking with Pastor Brooks, so stay tuned here.
Upgrade your laundry room style and function with a Whirlpool large capacity front load laundry pair. Clean regular sized loads fast with a quick wash cycle and get on with your day. In the dryer, the Wrinkle Shield option helps keep wrinkles from setting in when you can't unload right away.
For mattresses, furniture, flooring, and appliances, see the folks at Jerry's TV and Home Furnishings at 375 West Springfield in Sullivan, or call 468-4300.
All right, Pastor Frank Brooks is with the Lasting Hope Church in Bourbon, and he's going to talk about some stuff that's going on there. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, Sam. Yeah, we got some things coming up and excited about this next Friday, which a week from today is Valentine's Day, and I personally had never really thought a whole lot about on Valentine's Day and how that people that are alone are alone on that day and have nobody, really to hang out with or whatever it might be. But a lady in the church has brought this to us, and we're excited about it. So next Friday at 11 o'clock, from 11 to 1, we're going to be hosting a Valentine's Day luncheon there at the church in the basement. And with that, there's going to be food. There'll be some fun games and different things going on, and some fellowship, just to kind of hang out, just so you're not alone for a little bit on that day. So this is for anybody that feels like, I don't want to be alone today. So we would encourage you to come be a part of that. There's no cost to this. You don't have to bring anything. All you got to do is just show up, and everything else will be taken care of. But they're going to I know they're having some soup, sandwiches, finger foods, and desserts throughout that 2-hour period there. And there's a lady by the name of Alessia Whitmire, and she is a certified grief and loss counselor, and she's coming and going to share just a few minutes about learning how to deal with the pain of life's losses that comes from death. It can come from divorce or broken marriages. It can come from disappointments in life, the things that happen that wasn't expected to happen, medical diagnoses, failed careers, and just so many more different things, and how that we can overcome and not let them control us, even though they're part of our life and it does happen, but they don't have to consume us and control us. So she's going to share briefly with us about that on that day, next Friday. The address is 2416 Old Highway 66 in Bourbon, Missouri. And we're just about a half mile out past the Bourbon High School there on the old Route 66.
On the other side.
On the other side, yeah. On the other side. The other side of the tracks. No. If you got a pen and you would want to write down a phone number that you might want to call if you had some questions or anything, you could call Bonnie at 573-205-6599. So that pretty much sums up next Friday what we're doing. And then I'm going to jump out, if that's okay, into June. In June, we have got Alessia Whitmire coming back, and this will be a 2-day, a Friday evening and an all-day Saturday, grieve well, live well, training and teaching. And this whole thing is designed to help people deal with hurt and grief that comes from death, divorce, health diagnoses, and any other losses that can cause grief to us. So she is certified to teach and help along this way with grief and those kind of situations. And Alessia, I'll just share this, and I know she wouldn't mind me sharing this, but she's not just went to school for this. She has lived this. I believe her and her husband was on vacation. Her first husband was on vacation, and he had a heart attack and died while they were on vacation. And so she has experienced grief and experienced that loss, but she's also experienced bouncing back from that and coming back, and she's remarried now to Pastor Chuck Whitmire, and Pastor Chuck experienced the same thing himself with losing his wife due to cancer, but they are a living example of you can grieve and still live, and that's a lot of what this whole thing is about. And we encourage you to come if you can this next Friday, be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the church basement, Lasting Hope Assembly of God in Bourbon, Missouri.
Pastor, tell us a little bit about your church. I mean, through the Gospel Hootenanny, you guys have hosted a couple times, and I've found your people to be very warm and caring people, great hosts. Tell us a little bit about, when your services are and things like that.
Well, good. That's encouraging to hear that you came and you liked this.
Oh, yeah.
No, we have a great church. I truly believe that, and great people. The church, something that we're excited about, and I'm going to bring a flyer in for Sam to share later on probably, but we're getting ready to celebrate 100 years of being a church in Bourbon, Missouri. So that's quite the accomplishment.
You don't look that old.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been around, but not that long.
Okay.
100 years, though, man, that's pretty awesome. So we're celebrating that on February the 22nd and February the 23rd. So that's a Saturday evening, 4 p.m. on Saturday, February 22nd. We'll have a singing with Final Authority. They'll be there singing and ministering through song. And then we're going to have words that'll be shared from previous pastors, some live. They'll be there in person, and then I believe there's some that just video and that type of thing. We'll have there again. If I don't know if all churches, I think most churches, we surround a lot of what we do around eating, so we have food.
You guys have good food. Yeah.
We have sandwiches and finger foods and all that kind of thing on Saturday evening. And then on Sunday morning, February 23rd at 10:30 a.m., that's when we'll have our celebration service. And Pastor Don Miller, he's the Assembly of God Southern Missouri Network Superintendent. He'll be coming and preaching and sharing the word. And then right after that, we'll have a lunch to follow after that. But I'm excited about the church. I'm excited about, and not just our church, but the church as a whole. I believe we're maybe coming back to life, waking up, out of a slumber maybe, or and having just some dreams and expectations of the future, and that God's going to do some great things. I believe that.
Well, Pastor, tell us a little bit about you. Where'd you come from? When did you feel the call? What else have you done?
Well, I'm a older guy. I'm 61 years old.
That's not so old. I'm 61.
That's not that old. When I was 18, 61 was old. But, that's pretty young now.
Yeah.
But I'm 61, and I actually started pastoring 10 years ago. So I was a late bloomer on becoming a pastor. And I'm from Salem, Missouri originally, and served there in the church. Got saved in my mid-30s and served there as a deacon and under 2 or 3 different pastors, and got involved in prison ministry there. And worked out of Farmington, Bonne and Licking mainly, and going into the prison system and ministering there and visiting with those men and trying to just be an encouragement to them. And I'm still involved in prison ministry a little bit to this day. But I got my credentials and everything through the Assembly of God, and we pastored in St. James at Flag Springs Church for almost 5 years, and then felt the release and didn't know where we were going necessarily, and we ended up in Bourbon, and just through a couple of phone calls, and actually when I first came to Bourbon to interview, and Pastor Miller, that's going to be preaching the service, he's the district superintendent. So he called me. I was sitting in Bourbon at the Town and Country parking lot. I got there early. I was meeting with the deacons of the church, and he called and he said, "Frank, I know you're kind of in transition." And he said, "I was just thinking, have you ever thought about maybe checking out the church there in Bourbon? They're without a pastor right now." And I said, "Well, Brother Miller," I said, "I'm sitting here in Bourbon right now, and in 30 minutes I'm going to meet with their deacon." So
I'll be darned.
That was almost confirmation to me that you're on the right track here. And we've been 5 years this June, 5 years in June in Bourbon. We love it, and we love the community and love the people. And I just feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. And believing that God's going to do just some great things. And there's, in Bourbon alone, there's 1,600 people in the city limits. The zip code for Bourbon is over 6,000 people, and almost 70% of those people have no affiliation with a church.
Oh, really?
So there's a lot of people that don't go to church anywhere. They're not affiliated. And we just want to reach them and share Jesus with them and share the love of Christ and let them know that life can be a whole lot better if you got Jesus in it.
Well, believe it or not, it's getting almost to be a year since I had my stroke, and I'm in the hospital in St. Louis, and had a couple of pastors from different, had a Catholic priest in there, I think who was part of the hospital, and then my Methodist pastor, there was a Baptist, and then all of a sudden you, who I'd only met a handful of times, you'd come in here and drop things off sometimes, and I'm like, and I think you asked, is it all right if I pray for you? And I was like, well, we're covering all my bases here, the Baptist and the Methodist and my Assembly of God. Hey, it can't hurt.
Yeah.
And I really believe that all of those, I must have had thousands of people praying for me, and I attribute that, as much as getting the clotbuster shot when I first got to the hospital, I attribute that, the prayer, for me getting better.
Absolutely.
And most people who are in the medical profession cannot believe how well the type of stroke that I had, how well that I have progressed since that time, and I owe it a lot, I think, to the prayers of the people.
Yes.
So
yeah.
So, but I really appreciated you making that trip up there to see me. So.
Yeah, well, we was glad to come. Me and one of the deacons from church.
Yeah.
Came and we was just, and we'd met you at the Hootenanny thing, there, and that's a good thing. Those things are good.
Yeah. And there's
Just
one
reaching
tonight.
out to people. Got one tonight.
Got one tonight at the Anchor Church there on Springfield and Cumberland for Sherry, who's been a waitress. She was in my class, and I think she was a waitress when we were in high school, and over at the old Bobber, and she's been a waitress ever since. So I think pretty much everybody in Sullivan knows her.
Yeah. And when a person, you don't realize until you're in those shoes of a stroke or needing help or just needing encouragement or whatever, but just sometimes little things mean a lot, to people. So I encourage you, if you're out there listening today, to reach out to somebody and make a phone call to somebody. Just be an encourager and share, just some words of encouragement with somebody. Buy them a candy bar or a Diet Coke and give to them and say, hey, I was thinking about you today. And those things mean a lot.
Well, Pastor, I hope you come back and talk to us more about your 100th anniversary at the church. And always look forward to talking to you. So
yeah, absolutely. When we're looking forward to that day, and we have a group of ladies they've kind of taken the reins with this, and they're running with it and making it all happen and come together.
And you just stand back and supervise?
My wife is involved in it, so I kind of hear, what all's going on and all that kind of thing. But yeah, they're doing a great job. I think there's 5 ladies there at the church.
And what time are services on Sunday?
We start our Sunday school life groups at 9:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. And then at 10:30 a.m. we have our worship service and the preaching of the word. And then we have a youth service at 6 p.m. On Sunday evening. And Brother Mark and Tish, they take care of that, and they do a good job with the youth.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in today.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Pastor Frank Brooks from Lasting Hope Church in Bourbon. All right, it is 24 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock here on this Friday morning. I'm Sam Scott. I'm glad you've spent some time with me here. As always, I would ask that you would please say a prayer for the leadership of our country, the men and women who protect this great nation of ours. And it doesn't hurt to say a prayer for our local healthcare workers and first responders. Be a blood donor. Go to redcrossblood.org. There's a blood drive here in Sullivan on Monday. And you can also download that app to your phone. Be an organ donor as well. It is coming up on 25 past the hour of 9 o'clock. It's 35 degrees here, 32 out at Sullivan Regional Airport. I'll be back with you Monday morning at 6 a.m. Bobby D will be in tomorrow and do some news. And then, of course, he's got his sports talk program on the FM starting about 8:25, something like that. So tune in for that as well. All right, Mike Gallagher is up next here on KTUI. Stay tuned.
Reporting by DropSite News last year revealed that the CIA analyst had relied on reporting by a supposedly independent investigative news organization called the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, or the OCCRP, which appears to have effectively operated as an arm of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, which President Trump has just shut down. The CIA whistleblower complaint cited a long report by OCCRP 4 times. The OCCRP report alleged that 2 Soviet-born Florida businessmen were key hidden actors behind a plan by Trump to investigate the Bidens. Those 2 businessmen connected Giuliani to 2 former Ukrainian prosecutors, according to OCCRP. The OCCRP story was crucial to the House Democrats' impeachment claim, which is that Trump dispatched Giuliani as part of a coordinated effort to pressure a foreign country to interfere in the 2020 presidential election, which is why the whistleblower cited it 4 separate times.
Now that's the investigative journalist Michael Schellenberger. I guess that's why they're mad, because the whole game is up. They've been caught red-handed. I mean, and I just saw something on my monitor that I got to share with you. You haven't lived until you've heard and seen crazy Maxine Waters and a delegation of Democrats try to break into the Department of Education. It happened moments ago. It is classic comedy. They are gone. The Democrats are broken. In just 2.5, 3 short weeks, the Trump administration has officially broken the Democrats. And it's all of them. I don't hear any of them that haven't had the wheels come off. The wheels have come off the Democrat train. And they're going over the ravine and down into the valley. The valley of anger and rage and sputtering. Oh, this is good. This is good. Wait till you hear Auntie Maxine trying to break into the Department of Education. Another bloated bureaucratic quagmire that Trump wants to shut down. We're just getting started. And so far, so good. No slurred speech, no dizziness. Where's my scalp massage? I have poor circulation in the brain, don't you know? When you hear the term living better, what do you think about? More money, a bigger house, maybe a yacht? What about how you feel physically? How do you wake up each day? How do you sleep during the night? What activities you can and cannot do? When you feel good, life is good. So if pain is affecting your life, see how Relief Factor can help. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally, developed by doctors. It doesn't just mask pain temporarily. It helps reduce or even eliminate pain. How do I know? Absolutely am a customer. I take Relief Factor daily. No lower back pain for me anymore. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. Give their 3-week quick start a try. It's only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Just one phone call, 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF. Relief Factor, relief wherever you're hurting in 3 weeks or even days. Relief Factor can give you a chance to rediscover the true meaning of living better again. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4-RELIEF. That's 800-4-RELIEF for the one and only Relief Factor.
Mike Gallagher. The fentanyl epidemic is killing 400 Americans per day. The new documentary, Fentanyl Death Incorporated, takes a deep dive into this deadly killer.
It is the equivalent of a 747 going down every 2 days.
The 9,000 kilograms that were seized by the HIDTA program last year is sufficient to kill the population of the United States several times over.
Americans age 18 to 45 are the #1 consumers of fentanyl. Our friends, our neighbors, our own family members.
The Surgeon General released the report on the epidemic of loneliness, and that is a real thing.
Where is all of this stuff coming from?
Who's in the fentanyl supply chain? Where are the super labs? How are they using our open borders to cause such devastation?
All roads lead back to China.
The danger is all around us. The time is now.
They're killing our children. And how do we change that?
Don't miss this important documentary report, Fentanyl, Death Incorporated. It could save the life of someone you love. Available exclusively at salemnow.com. salemnow.com.
With News on Missouri Net, I'm Marshall Griffin. A Kansas City sports reporter on assignment in New Orleans this week has died. 27-year-old Adam Manzano worked for Telemundo Kansas City and served as play-by-play announcer for the KC Current soccer team. He also provided sideline coverage for the Chiefs for the Spanish-language network Tico Sports. It's unknown how he died, but the Kansas City Telemundo affiliate says they're cooperating with law enforcement. The Missouri Senate has passed a bill that supports the state's ambulance districts. The sponsor, Jefferson City Republican Mike Bernsketter, says it's designed to hold ambulance districts to a higher standard and will make sure that if something happens to a district, another one can step in and meet residents' needs.
So basically this legislation is just making sure that everybody in the state has adequate ambulance service when they have a health care crisis.
And the Department of Economic Development has awarded over $25 million in grants for 52 public safety and infrastructure projects in Missouri. This is Missouri Net.
Can you imagine what it must be like to have nowhere to turn as a young teen? This happens when parents struggle with addiction, may be incarcerated, or unable to care for their child. And it's devastating. This is why HALO exists. HALO provides housing, healing, and education to kids who need it the most. HALO is the foundation of a family for children without one, surrounding them with support, meeting their basic needs, and helping them set and reach their goals. But HALO cannot do this work alone. With your support, homeless youth are given a chance at a better life, a chance that they deserve. Consider a gift to HALO to make a difference in the life of a child in need. Go to haloworldwide.org today. Make a gift now to make an impact. That's haloworldwide.org. haloworldwide.org.
At National Geographic Society, we believe in the power of wonder. It drives us to explore, pushes us to